Hey, what's going on, comic fans? Welcome to the Legion of Comics. This is At Weeks In, and it's a brand new year, 2026. New Year Who Dis. We're going to be talking about the Stranger Things series finale. It's all over. It ended with a bang. There's a lot of questions, some divisive points to some of the parts of the series finale, and I've got a special guest here that was having some great dialogue on a post. I'm like, that's it. He's got to come on the show, and luckily, he literally traveled across the world to make it here tonight, and he pulled it off. So we'll be talking about that, looking at some of the box office stuff for not only the end of this year, but into 2026, looking at the comics that are coming, and a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Just having some fun tonight, kicking the year off right. Let's go. What's up, Paul?
Santa's here?
Santa's here. He's back.
You said he crossed the world. You have someone who's crossed the world to be here.
Yeah, this one crossed the world, but does suffer from jet lag. I don't think that happens to Santa. Last time we saw Santa was on your channel.
That's right. That's right.
Speaking of that, give us the lineup. It's a new year. We kind of threw a curveball with the holidays, throwing off Guess That Key.
Right. So no Guess That Key this week, but it'll be a week from Wednesday. It's the first week, Guess That Key of the year. We will have what I call a Blue Wrench episode. We have Dale of Suspense, and we have Brother John Comics will be joining us. And then we also, starting a new year, there were no DC Comics released this past week, which I'm sure we'll probably get into. But we did have a whole year of Absolute, and so we took our opportunity to do the DC Comics deep dive. It is a look back at 2025 and a look forward at 2026. And that will be
these days.
Tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. A Blue Wrench episode, that'll be fun. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a key.
Exactly.
Yeah, it'll be good. So we got a special guest with us tonight, hailing from Iceland. Iceland, native born. But he came all the way to the United States so that the internet would work properly, and he could join us tonight, all the way from the Unchosen One podcast. Jay, what's going on, man?
What's happening? Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Yeah, jet lag, big time, but it was worth it.
Crazy. What time did you land?
Oh, well, I think it was like around midnight here in the East Coast. We left at 5 p.m. there, 8-hour flight, and then with the time difference, we got back by like 10, and then to get home from Miami, because it was the Miami airport we had to leave from. So yeah, I'm all messed up.
I'm glad you're here, man. When I reached out to you, because we were talking a little bit in the comment section on some Stranger Things stuff, because what an enjoyable finale when it literally ends and it starts conversation.
Yeah,
that's really fun stuff about being in any fandom, really. And we were talking, and I mentioned coming on, like, yeah, I might be jet lagged. I'm like, perfect, even better. Like, let's do this. So, yeah, right at the front of the show here. Where can people find you? What do you got going on? How's your schedule looking for 2026?
Yeah, so we're gonna start taping. We're gonna tape a new episode this Friday, so that'll come out the week after. So that puts the first new episode of the season will be on
17th.
The 17th, and that's actually, we're gonna have channel member starting soon. So the channel members will get it on Saturday, and then everyone else will get it on the following Monday. And we're going to have some new things like extra bonus segments that are not going to be in the regular show, and commercial free.
Oh my God, I can't even imagine what some of these...
the bonus stuff. Oh yeah, that's going to be fun.
Unchosen Podcast Plus.
Yeah. Unchosen Plus. We haven't workshopped the name yet. We're gonna be rolling that out.
I'm sure it'll be copyright, but for sale.
Right. Yeah, we'll be rolling that out this week. And so check out the Unchosen Ones podcast on YouTube, and all the details will be there.
That's awesome. And not to blow up your spot, but have you worked on any of the comic supplies products that you were kind of workshopping in 2025? You revisited any of those ideas?
What do you mean, like the comic belt, the divider? Yes, I've worked. They're ready to go. I'm trying to figure out packaging and shipping. I'm just trying to find out the most economic and also not like cheap looking way of shipping them out and safely so they don't break. And I'm getting closer, but that'll be this month as well.
Dude, awesome. Yeah. Awesome. And you can follow those products on a separate Instagram account, right?
Yeah, that'll be And Now Comics. That's going to be the name of like the little comic shop / sponsor of the show, and now comics.
And now comics.
And now,
that's a good name.
And now
Thanks.
dot comics.
Right. Yeah. You don't have to put in the ... but in the logo it looks like that. Yeah. I figured the dot, putting that in.
What are they called?
Too much
It's actually called ellipse, right? That's
the ellipsis, right? Ellipsis. Right. Yeah.
What is going on, 34? Yeah, so far so good. So far so good. Also, man, where do y'all even want to start? Y'all want to just dive right into Stranger Things?
Sure. Yeah, that's
it's
a hot topic.
It's kind of the hot topic. Let's just go around the horn. Like, Paul, how would you rate the episode and then the whole thing, really? Like, in the context that Paul literally binge watched it all for the first time, all the way like to the day before this final season starting. Like, couldn't have been more fresh of an experience.
Right. I've done the entire 4 or 5 seasons in basically 3.5, 4 weeks.
Nice. Nice.
I would give the finale, I would give it an 8. I think the series as a whole, I would probably give a 9.
Right. Yeah. I did a rewatch in that same amount of time that Paul did, because when I was watching some of the first volume of season 5, I was like, there's stuff I'm not remembering here. So I was like, screw it. Let's just start fresh. I have like 2 or 3 weeks here before the trip that we like. I think I can get it all now. I was watching like 2 or 3 a night, and it was worth it because all that stuff was fresh, and I caught a lot of stuff that I didn't the first time. I'd give the series, as far as like a sci-fi series, I got to give it like a 9.5. I think it was one of the best sci-fi series I've ever watched from beginning to end. And the finale, I give a solid 9.
Nice. I'm going to be a little more harsh. So I did the same thing. Like before Paul, I was sitting there binge watching it all because I was just going to binge watch it all beforehand. And I hadn't seen like season 4 and 3. Like I watched 1 and 2 and it came out and fell off. And as soon as like a couple months ago when they dropped the episode links, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm all in. I was all excited instantly because I'm like, this is going to be super long. I love that. And so I went and re-binged it and watched those and just led right into it. And for an episode, I would give it a solid 8. And that's me being harsh, like with my criticisms. And y'all know I can criticize fucking anything. Good at criticizing. And as a series overall, I'm with Jailus. I give it a 9.5, like from its structure, from its build, like, because I know I've seen some people point out on online, like if you would show someone season 1 and then the final season, they would just be lost how you get here. Well, no crap. But the trajectory when you watch it, it's not crazy. And what a journey to get to that point. Right. And I don't know. The highs were super high. The lows were minuscule and trivial, and a lot of them intentional, in my opinion. But dude, I just absolutely loved it. The cultural relevance of this show, we haven't had anything like it. It's Netflix's big success, and I don't know. There's a lot to praise about it. It's easy to nitpick stuff, but there's so much to praise.
Yeah, it's easily going to be one of the most memorable sci-fi series of all time, and I don't think I've ever seen something emulate what it was to be a kid in the 80s as good as this did. This was just perfect. That feel, and it maintained that, even though, what show stays the same throughout its entire course?
None of
them. Yeah. But that feel that they gave, that 80s feel, that did stay. And that was done very, very well.
Soundtrack was a 10 out of 10.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Dude, especially the finale. Yeah, when they pulled Purple Rain out, I'm like, oh, dude, perfect.
And not just one Prince song, 2 Prince songs.
That was
amazing.
So finale wise, we did a lot. I think people might undersell it a little bit because of how long the I don't even know if you'd call it an epilogue really, but the second half of the final episode, which I felt was the most important part going into this final season, that second half of the series finale, I felt was going to be the most important part. That's how you land the plane or crash this whole thing, is how you treat that second half. It was literally my only criticism about Avatar Fire and Ash. There should have been more after the final battle, but there never is. It's one of those movies like where you have the final battle and then you kind of just, we're pretty much, we're not going to do these drawn out character epilogues. Like this is where we leave them right here. But with something like a show that you've been invested in for a decade, and there's so many characters that you've explored like together and individually, you have a lot more invested. So it means a whole lot more to get some kind of answers, clarity, and direction so you can imagine how how their futures play out since we'll no longer be with them. But what would y'all think that they handled that right? Like, what y'all think of that long drawn out second half? I really want to start with that.
I love a long epilogue. I am a big fan of long epilogues. I like to, because I like, you don't want, if it's good, if you love it, you don't want to leave that world. You know, it's sad because it's over. So you want to know, you want some closure on all the characters you've been there for so long with. They feel like you know them. You know, you want to know how it goes. So instead of like, you know, at the end of a movie, there'll be a little paragraph like so and so went on to do this.
I love those.
I love those. But instead of that, we got it acted out.
Yeah, we saw it.
Read. We could see.
It's like when you have a movie based on real events, they'll show you the real life photo and then the description of where they are now. Like that stuff means so much.
Yeah, and I also think that the way that they did it is one, they had to try to give everybody their due, right? Because there were a lot of characters, right?
There's like 16 main characters.
Exactly. So they kind of did that, but then they brought it full circle, you know, right back to the Dungeons and Dragons.
That's the best part.
You know,
that ending, dude, it was beautiful.
And besides tying it up, it tied it up and made it full circle while advancing it to the next generation. If they went, you know, as well.
Yeah. That wasn't even. I read that wasn't even originally in there with the kids coming down the steps. And then they put that in at the end of that. Made it. That made the whole scene. The kids
with Will sitting there or Mike sitting there, just looking at him and kind of smirking. That final shot was great. Just the basement door closing. Like, grief.
And even then, I didn't want it to end
this year.
I was like, oh, that's it. Even after we got like, oh, I guess that was enough of an epilogue, but I wanted even more.
Just wanted a better closure for some of the greats. Murray, I figured, was going to run a karate dojo. Erica, Robin's girlfriend, I don't think Erica was relevant at all. We saw her in like 4 scenes total. Yeah. We got Robin, and that's what mattered. Murray, that I get. Murray's been rocking with these guys.
I would have liked something on Murray. Murray was probably the most unheralded character. Like, where would they be without Murray, man? Murray
dead, so literally dead.
Dead, right?
Often still be in a gulag somewhere.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would like to know what Murray went on to do.
That was my favorite part, the gulag.
Yeah. And I did see where a post where the Duffer Brothers in an interview were addressing some of what are deemed plot holes, like what happened to Murray and stuff like that. And I mean, I guess you know the best of movies written by the best of writers. There's always going to be plot holes if you look for them. You can always, I mean, that's basically you just have questions. I don't know if it's a plot hole as much as a question. 9 endings like Return of the King, but there's only 1 return. Yeah. So to address some of the critic, well, first off, what are some of the highs for you guys for this episode for the finale? What was the most memorable moments for y'all?
For me, and I knew I called it as soon as I saw it, was as they're in and they've just kind of defeated Vecna. He's impaled, right? And they're walking in, and I said to myself, you know what? Joyce really hasn't done anything this episode yet. And
why was she there?
And I saw she had the axe on her back, and I'm like, she's about to go Red Sonja on Vecna's ass.
Yeah, there was a lot of criticism that Joyce wasn't getting enough screen time, but it all made up for it in just that one line. You know, that one line. Is that the first time anyone even used the F word?
Drop through the whole thing.
The entire thing, right? That was great. And it was so powerful because you would like, oh, no one's ever said that on the show before.
Yeah.
It was so good.
But that was the best. I mean, to me, that was the highlight of the thing, is like, let Joyce just go ballistic on Vecna.
You know what's crazy, Jay, is it was on New Year's Eve. So my mom was over from where we were popping fireworks. We had some people over. Everyone had left but me, the kids, and my mom. And I turned this on. Monkey falls asleep instantly because she's tuckered. And Finn's still awake. So it's just the 3 of us. And my mom's just this little kindergarten teacher, very, very faith-driven woman, doesn't smoke, doesn't cuss, doesn't drink, not her whole life, just not her thing, you know? Right. So when I sit down, I just out of courtesy, I warned her, like, Mom, just let you know, she knows what Stranger Things is, never watched it. I said, just let you know, they love to say the S word. So it's just going to happen. Because, you know, when she hears it, it makes her wince. Right. So we watch this and they do that scene. I'm like, oh no. That just hit her in the face. You know, she's like, I had to apologize on that one. She was
to explain, like, listen, this is 10 years of torture this woman has gone through.
I did. I explained to her, like, the flashbacks. That's all the stuff she dealt with for the past decade.
Right.
But it was funny. She was watching. She goes, is that Sarah Connor?
Right. I like how they made Linda Hamilton look like Papa too. Is that kind of weird? How like
Dr. Brenner's haircut,
the hair, right? Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you this real quick. Side question, Paul. Chill out. Hey, Jay, about Dr. Brenner. Do you think that they gave him any kind of redeemable quality in season 4 when we figured out what his true motives behind the experiment was?
I think, yeah, I don't think I think he's like most good villains, where you can walk in his footsteps and realize
Abusing kids
went
is
wrong.
okay sometimes.
Yeah, it's he was,
Me and Paul have this debate. My eyes opened up to Brennan, like he's literally trying to save the entire world.
right. If it's a good villain,
by making L's life a living hell.
If so, a really good villain you can kind of sympathize with a little bit. Like I can sympathize in Watchmen with Ozymandias, and he's a terrible person, an awful person, but I understand what he's trying to do. And Brenner's one of those geniuses that's like, he doesn't stop to think, should I before could I? So he's just enthralled with what he can do and doesn't stop to think, should I do this?
I also just think that anyone who believes that they alone are going to save the world is extremely narcissistic.
Big time.
So Superman's narcissistic now?
He doesn't believe that he's the only one who can save the world.
No, he doesn't. In fact, the exact opposite.
He does it all the time. It doesn't mean that he still believes that he, working with other superheroes and humanity, should be saving the world.
He's
just doing charity work. He doesn't want them to feel bad. That's all that is.
Okay. Superman needs a little more narcissism, actually.
Yeah, and DCKO, they're trying to convince him to have a little bit more. Good night, big man.
Right.
Yeah, to Paul's point, like that's his biggest hindrance in the DCKO series is he will not just let go.
Yeah. Now Batman, on the other hand, is a huge narcissist.
I got this.
Right. I can do it all by myself.
The Hopper Vecna scene was dope. Yeah, I called that the minute that he shot that tank and she started bleeding. I'm like, oh, he's tricking her.
It had to be. It was too early in the episode.
Yeah,
you would hope that was an illusion.
Yeah. So what y'all think of the giant kaiju mind flayer? The idea of that being the real form of the mind flayer.
Right. Well, I love the Dark Castle homage, the poster of it being the Dark Castle thing, and then the entire time that's the actual mind flayer. I've been reading online, like people are saying that it sucked up all the Demogorgons and all the things that were there, because people are like, where are all the Demogorgons? Where are all the monsters? And that place looks desolate. So I'm thinking it was sucking up life, just how its body double in the real world was sucking up corpses.
In season 3, it had to form it. Because the first time we see the flayer, it's just a cloud that Vecna sees that it kind of forms into the spider to connect with him, kind of thing. So
plus, I also read that Vecna never expected them to come into where he was to fight them, so he didn't have all the Demogorgons running around.
And to be fair, though, and I genuinely think like that. I think that is a little bit of slip on the writers right there, because it would have been super simple to have 2 or 3 Demogorgons, because there's never been an infestation of these creatures. There's only ever been a rare few, just one this season. It only ever showed one in the abyss when you see Henry fall into it in that flashback in season 4. But they could have had just Demogorgon centuries. That would have been a perfect little one scene task for Will to handle while the rest of them were doing their thing.
We never know really how many Demogorgons there are. I mean, we've only seen them. Yeah. We know there are a lot of the Demodogs. We've seen them in groups, but the Demogorgons themselves, we've never seen in large quantities. There might not be as many as we thought. Maybe there's only 10 or 12.
Yeah, I never assumed there to be a lot, because it wasn't until this season that we even saw more than one sharing screen together.
Right. Or maybe they knew Will is there and they're afraid of Will, since he, destroyed them so easily.
My favorite episode of the whole season, episode 4.
Yeah, that was nuts. I do want to point that out too. Y'all know when episode 4 dropped, there wasn't a single naysayer on the entire internet for once. Everyone was praising this show.
I think so, yeah.
And then volume 2 came out. Like season 4 is literally a mid-season finale. So it's meant to be epic in nature, which it was. Yeah. Volume 2 did not include an epic in nature episode because it didn't include the finale. Right. And I think people's expectations were so misplaced for volume 2 that the internet just turned on this show, man. Like it was absolutely bananas But
yeah, that's a lack of patience people have now. I mean, literally, you only had to wait like a couple of weeks for the finale. They were bridge episodes.
It was
That's what they were.
crazy. And I
Literally,
don't
literally
even
left on the
think they
way.
were. Yeah, I saw someone say they were fillers. Like they were far from fillers.
No.
We had like the hospital attack with the 3 demi-dogs. There was all kinds of stuff happening in there.
Close up some of the emotional parts.
The reveal of what the upside down was, what the abyss was, how this connection to Hawkins, like the literal explanation of everything we've wondered for a decade was one episode.
Yeah,
so
that
like,
was revealed.
None of them were even fillers. Like there was all kinds of stuff in them.
No, not at all. Yeah, we finally were told that it was a wormhole. You know, that's a huge reveal.
That was insane, and the visual for it, like when dude, it was so freaking cool. What is going on, homie? Welcome to Dairy absolutely cooked Stranger Things. I prefer that season. If we're just one for wanting it was something fresh, something new. But luckily for me, you, and the panel, it's not a competition, and you can enjoy them both to their own. I would never try to compare a Netflix production to HBO. That's just not fair.
Mm.
And not in my opinion.
Stark difference between the two?
Absolutely. And quality of the people making it, the people like producing it, the set designers, the stuff you have on hand to work with, plus the talent pool that you're able to reach into and bring in. I think it's night and day, like 100%. Like I say it all the time since I've been here. It's not just TV. It's HBO. It's always been the most premium example of its nature. And in my opinion, that hasn't changed.
Yeah. And I also think that I think they're two different genres a little bit. One is probably, to me, a welcome to it is horror. It's
big time
horror, right? This is more sci-fi, I think.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. So, it's it tickles a little bit different thing in my book.
Like to me, HBO has always felt like silver screen television. Right. And Stranger Things feels like streaming television. And I don't compare that. I don't hold them. I don't use the same measuring stick on them, if that makes any sense. Netflix has way more resources, though. They just don't use them the same. They have more money.
Right.
Like you said, that they don't use it the same. They don't have the same connections. They don't have the same experience. Like one of them's been around for 40 years doing top tier stuff.
They don't. They don't have their own. Warner Brothers, who does?
Yeah, it's Warner Brothers. They have their own group of talent.
Yeah, and they have their own movie studio.
Right. Yeah. It's. Netflix, Warner Brothers, HBO, all that. They're just production companies. They hire people to make these things. So Netflix, all they have to do is hire. If they like something, they see like, well, let's hire those people and make a show for us.
They've had Scorsese in the past. You know what I mean? But to a great example, Welcome to Dairy might be the best example. They literally had Andy Muschietti, a silver screen director, come and make a television show for them and convince Bill Skarsgård, who said he doesn't want to do TV shows, to come do his first TV show because no matter what anyone thinks, this is silver screen actors, this is television. In amongst their own community, they don't look at those things as evenly. Like it's like a pyramid you're trying to get to the top of. Like once you're a silver screen actor, you don't want to start doing TV till you're like in your Harrison Ford years. Otherwise, that's how you're looked at. It's a different. You'll accept less money for more work. Basically, is what it means as an employee, and they don't want to do that.
Well, I think that guy. I think that was true back in the '90s, maybe the early O's. But I think
more
it's been
so than
blurred
now.
A lot. That's been blurred a lot. I remember the first True Detective season, and like, oh, that's Woody Harrelson. And
but what channel was that on?
You know? What
channel is that on?
Well, no, HBO. No, that's what I'm saying. But they did TV, right?
Yeah.
But I'm saying I think that line is blurred a lot. I don't think it's risque for a big Hollywood actor now to do, movie actor to come and do a good TV show if they think the show is really, really.
But I think to Mark's point is, I think if it's on HBO Max, it's considered a jewel, a premium television, role, as opposed to Netflix, where it's still, you're gonna get 9 episodes in one day, and that's gonna be it.
I'm glad that it's separated with Netflix and the other ones. Netflix releases them all at once, and the others do it once a week. I hope it stays like that. I don't want everything at once on all the companies.
Yes, yeah. I hate binge drops. It really, it's challenging for numerous reasons, but I've got countless reasons. Yeah, Avatar Fire and Ash is absolutely crushing it. Crossed over $1 billion Friday night while I was right before we went live, Paul. Friday night, I'm like, guys, just so you know, while we're sitting here getting ready to go live, Avatar is crossing $1 billion.
Yeah, it's at like 1,880
1.08.
Crazy. That's crazy.
And that's not the full number. That's just the turned in confirmed. There's still more. It's at least
the most successful movie franchise in the history of film.
It didn't show up on any of the things, but apparently Stranger Things did 25 million in its 2 days.
And it was only the one night?
And then it was New Year's Day. You could see it on New Year's Day as well.
Right.
So what they did was they didn't sell tickets. You'd have to get a ticket like you would, but what you did is you had to buy the Stranger Things concession set. It's like $30, like if you're getting a bucket for anything else, to drink popcorn. And that way the theaters who was making money, Netflix wasn't worrying about it, kind of thing, which I thought was just incredible of Netflix.
The theaters got everything.
Yep.
Right. Well, I'm sure that's going to be a model they use for other things. So if they gobble up Warner Brothers, they're probably going to try to make money.
They're going to have to try to offset that 17-day window that Netflix wants to do.
Yeah.
I hope now after the reports are coming in that second, the $40 billion that was being backed up in cash is kind of coming through the weeds that's going to get turned down. Now Netflix is like, yeah, we'll do 17 days. Like, you sons of bitches, you liars.
I hope Bill
did TV. He made it to movies and he didn't want to go back to TV. Bill did a whole interview on it. What if the Avatar world existed in the Star Wars universe? That would be cool. Except I would never watch it.
There were parts of the Abyss coming that kind of looked like Avatar, like the little parts of the planet that were coming down kind of looked like the things that were floating in Pandora.
Oh yeah, and Stranger Things finale. Dude, that was pretty cool. The wormhole closing, the whole like setup on their plan and everything to go to the top of the Squawk Tower. So the biggest, I'm assuming you guys are with me on this, where the biggest death that you feared going into this finale was Steve Harrington.
Steve's one of the best characters, of course. But when they did it so early, I'm like, okay, he's safe.
I can breathe. Yeah, that's how I felt. And I love that they use their own little tropes that they've developed over the years. When you have these scenes and it just blacks out for a few seconds. Yeah. And the first time you watch it, that blackout moment seems like an eternity.
Right.
And then it comes back and you get to see the resolution. But when you rewatch it the second time, like, oh, that was only 3 seconds.
Yeah, right.
Like, I didn't realize how into it I was.
Yeah.
They did it with Max when she was floating in the cemetery, when Vecna had her, when she was running out and everything. And I remember I was on my feet the first time I watched that. When that scene ended, I realized I stood up. Like it was
tense. So the theater reaction was cool. They showed some of the theater reaction. It was kind of like Endgame. People were going crazy. Yeah,
I like that it was Jonathan that caught him out. Like you said, I like they did that early, so I felt like we could breathe. Right. But let's say let's get to the controversial issue of the night. Jay, do you want to introduce the controversial issue of the finale?
Yeah, let me start off by saying I watched the first time through. I was on team She's Alive. First time through, because I was just having fun watching it. I wasn't dissecting anything. I was just watching it as a fan. And when it was over, I was like, oh, she's alive. She's alive. Then on the second time through, the most glaring thing to me, and you could point out a lot of things, but the most glaring thing to me is when they're coming back out of the rift, they run over the tire spikes. For all that fake out, for it to be a production and to fake everyone out for her death, they had to have known they were going to be stopped right there in front of the rift for any of that to work. They were on the truck on the way home. If there's no tire spikes, they go home. If no one stops them, they go home, and there's no fake out.
No, does there have to be tire spikes, or can they just assume that the military is waiting for them on the military base where they're heading to?
Well, the only people to assume that would have to be Callie and Elle have to know they're going to be stopped right out there in front of the rift. It has to be
how do they get through the rift to get to the Upside Down?
On the way in?
Yeah. How did they get through the rift?
Well, I think they all get in different ways. I don't know.
No, well, they had the radio guy set everything right in for them to get in. It basically opened the gates. It opened the.
They forced open the gates and hauled ass and fought their way in.
I would think that
They would all be waiting
Hopper,
for him.
being an a police guy or whatever, has got to assume that when I come back through the rift, it's not going to be all rainbows and unicorns, and they're going to
They'll
let me
be
go.
waiting.
They'll be waiting.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
they basically broke their way in forcefully through the military. So of course they're exiting on a military base. So
but it has to be Callie and 11. Callie and 11 make the plan, right? So Callie and 11 have to know, okay, we're going to get stopped right as we come out for this production to work.
Right.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So how could they have known that? And if they did know it, that's cool. But let's go through how they knew that. And
yeah, I would say
I can buy it, but how?
Real quick, let's grant that, but I would say that would be the safest assumption. Like if you're planning on going here, blowing this up and leaving, you knew you had to fight your way into the portal. You're coming back out onto enemy territory, surrounded on enemy territory, because that's where the portal is. So I think that for me, I think that would be the base assumption for all of them, knowing we're fighting our way in, we're going to have to fight our way out. But
they're all in the truck. They're laughing. They're joking with each other, and they come out of the rift, and then boom, the tires pop, and they're stuck right there. What if it was a mile down the road, and they get stopped by the military? The whole thing doesn't work.
But they land, but it's on the military base. Is my point, with tons of military personnel. The second they come through that,
they have to see the rift. They have to see her in the rift, so they can't be far away from the rift.
No, we'll get to her. I'm just saying, like their exit from the upside down. They all, every one of them, the ones that are laughing and everything, they all know that they're leaving the upside down onto a military base full of people trying to stop us. That's the assumption, right?
And Elle is in the back of the truck. How does she even know where the truck is?
Good point there. But let's go to that. Let's move to that point. Like, because this is where it gets very dicey. Now, I'm going to say just up front, I think that no matter how this finale, this plot thing, this debatable plot thing goes, it's full of holes either way. Mm-hmm. This is the only part I thought that was kind of sloppy with the finale.
There are some. I think it's intentional though.
Yes. Yeah. I was going to say that it's meant to be as ambiguous as possible.
It's meant to be as ambiguous and as non-committal as a Dungeons and Dragons game is.
Right. Good. Yeah. Good analogy. Good
analogy.
So I mean, they created
Elle's in the portal, didn't set it up. What happens with Elle here? Where does it get weird from there?
Say that again.
The tires pop. They get stopped. They all look up.
Right. So you can see her exiting the truck. You can see Elle exiting the truck, and then either way, whether she's alive or dead, she has to make her way somewhere. So if she makes her way to the portal, she had to crawl to the portal. If she escaped, she had to crawl out of there somehow. So somehow she sneaks away, no matter which theory you're going with.
Right. Well, because we see the Radio Shack door kind of moving a little bit later on, which kind of indicates that that's where she went to.
Where did you see a Radio Shack door?
Well, real quick, there's two versions of this. There's the one we watch in real time, and then the one that Mike tells in his story.
Well, yeah, when Mike tells in the story, that's where you see the Radio Shack door.
But we can't trust that one.
No.
You have to take all of it and go back to the other one and see what checks out.
The Duffer Brothers even said that Mike's telling is exactly that. Mike's telling. He received no communication from Elle whatsoever. It's just him telling the story and his hope.
So it's his hope, which it could be 100% right, but the only way that we have to verify it is to go back and see what can be verified earlier in it. So yeah, but to your point, like you said, she had to either crawl back to the portal or run to Radio Shack.
Yeah, she went somewhere.
Well, those are really the two. Well, whether it's through to the portal or not. But the suppressors are confirmed to be pointed directly at the portal. So if she were to go back to the portal, like you said, she would have literally had to crawl in pain.
I got to push back on that. I don't think they are pointed right at the portal. I think the portal is behind the suppressors, and the suppressors are pointed into the middle of where they have ambushed them. So I don't think
on the ramp kind of thing.
Yeah, because I think there's a shot where you can see the portal behind where the suppressors are pointing out. There might be another suppressor on the other side pointing towards that way, but they're all pointed kind of where they stop the trucks. So I think she in the portal, and maybe she wasn't at 100%. Maybe she still had access to some of her powers in the portal. But if you're going to go along with that she escaped, then I would say Callie had to have been in the truck with them the whole time, invisible.
There's a couple big problems with Callie being the one to pull this off. We'll get into that. So I legit thought the suppressors were covering it. I'm pulling it up just to check real quick.
It's hard to see. It's not.
Yeah,
it's
they
not
all
like
come out of the
real.
woodwork on them.
It's not very definitive.
No. So did you go back and check the hand thing that people were, the hand twitch, the hand glitching?
It only glitches in Mike's telling.
Okay. That's one that I heard people mentioning. And there's the biggest issue of all, but that the biggest issue of all comes down to how she communicated with Mike in this situation.
Right.
Like
right.
she can't physically be there. If she, okay, got it. There's suppressors on trucks moving pointed at them. There's also suppressors on poles fixed on the portal. So both are covered. There's actual fixed suppressors that aren't movie ones. And I don't know why they did this scene to have Hopper like pop up, and he looks at both. He pops up, he looks at the one on the ones on the back of the truck, and then he's looking at the ones that are on poles.
Right, one's on poles, right? But it's not real clear. There's not like an overhead view showing. Where
well, now that I look at it, the portal's next to that one, so that's not pointed at the portal either. The portal's right here beside that one.
Right, but doesn't it have the direction of the? It has to be pointed at her. If
yeah,
she's
it would have
behind
to
it
be
in the portal. Then it's not pointed at her.
Yeah, definitely not pointed at her. That fixed one.
Right.
But the biggest problem that throws off the whole thing for me with her being there is the way she communicates with Mike, how they do the dream walking so that she can talk to him. There's only one way that she can do that.
Oh, being submerged?
Yeah, that's what throws me off with the whole thing. And I didn't even think of that when I was at the little family event earlier. My oldest nephew, he's like 11, 12. He's been a diehard Stranger Things since he was a little kid. So he's grown up with these kids. It's kind of cool. And I was talking to him, and he's like, "No, man, don't be goofy. She wasn't in the tank." Like all that. He's like, "All that's for the bird. She wasn't in the tank." I'm like, "Oh."
Now she's been in the void area just blindfolded before, though. She's done multiple times. But you're saying because she pulled Mike into it, she had to be submerged.
Yeah, like for her to do that, that's like for her, isn't that kind of like a Hail Mary move? Like she's done the blindfolded earmuffs and all that at bare minimum, you know what I mean? To do the most minimal thing, but for her to just dive in and dream walk and pull Mike in and dream walk, she didn't just go visit him. She dove in and brought him with her, like there. But even then, she couldn't do that from Radio Shack either.
Right. Where, if she's right. So if she is alive,
no matter
how
where
did she do it anyway? Right.
Anywhere. Yeah.
How'd she do it from anywhere? And then the Callie thing, like in order to make the projection, that's where is Callie?
Right.
You know,
right.
How did you know when she
had to be close to everyone that was there.
Yeah. Right. So I'm thinking that, okay, so say you buy into Callie. I think Callie definitely got shot.
Definitely.
Because there's no way she started an illusion.
That's what they messed up. The bullet should have been the illusion, and then she should have been there with them, kind of thing. Like that's what I thought they were going to reveal. Because when Mike's like, and then she did her biggest illusion of all. I'm like, oh, she tricked him. Oh no, she didn't trick him. She's just 13 miles away in a room bleeding to death in a building that just exploded. Like what?
She can't be in that building when if Ella's alive and Callie helped her. There's no way Callie can be in that building. She had to have been in the truck with them, invisible, and also holding her wound, and not bleeding out. Right.
Yeah, I'll grant that she could have survived long enough to pull it off, but I don't think she could have survived long enough and pulled it off. You know,
right? Yeah, because that would have been a lot of concentration to do all that with a gut wound. So yeah, there's like you said, there's holes either way.
Yeah. It's a tough one. But there are some things we know for a fact. We know she dreamed walk with Mike. One way or another.
Yeah,
that happened one way or another. It's crazy. I like to think that despite the plot holes, I hope they never definitively tell us. That would be a crime if they definitively tell us. It would ruin so much.
Well, they did it. I mean, they pulled off a Sopranos ending. People are going to be talking about this forever.
Right.
Yes. And Sopranos, only the greats get debated.
Right. I mean, David Chase did come out eventually and tell everyone what happened.
Oh,
so maybe
Tony's
the
dead,
Duffers,
bro.
yeah, he's dead, right? So yeah,
If you
spoiler
paid
alert.
attention, you know what I mean?
Spoiler alert, Tony's dead, right? So maybe the Duffers will get bored one day, 15 years, 20 years down the line, and come out and say what it is that actually happened.
I think when you have this successful of a franchise that has made cultural impact, that has its own section in Target stores, you know, like it's got a stage play now. It has the animated series coming out, Stranger Tales or whatever it's called, where it'll come between, I think it said season 2 and 3, which I'm excited.
Stranger Tales 85 or something like that.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch that. You don't, like with comics, you don't want to definitively do anything because you don't know what the future holds.
Right.
And supposedly if they do a live action spinoff for it, it's not going to focus on, but it's supposed to explain the origin
Rock.
of the Rock.
The Rock, right.
Do you know, do either of y'all know? Because I intentionally didn't watch it. I fully plan on doing it this week sometime. The stage play that they did, it's Henry's story that it's a prequel to Henry stuff. I know it explores the cave stuff. Do y'all know if that includes that in the stage play?
I didn't. Sure. Yeah, I'm not. I didn't. I read a synopsis of the stage play, and I didn't read anything in there about it explaining the Rock. I think they're waiting to explain that in this new spinoff series. Yeah.
There was some complaints about the fact in the stage play, Joyce and Hopper apparently know Henry, and they're all in the same play in school, but they don't at any point during the series ever mention the fact, Joyce and Hopper never mention the fact that, oh yeah, we went to school with that kid.
Henry, right?
Yeah, they touch on it in the series finale when we're going through Henry's minds. We know from watching the show that
Joyce.
Max was in Henry's mind at school with the flyer with Joyce and Hopper and Mrs. Wheeler. They were all, even though we didn't meet their characters in younger years, did we know that they were there in the school with Henry?
Yeah, and the Duffer Brothers said that was an intentional. They did that intentionally because they thought if they were to try to kind of bring in the fact that Hopper and Joyce actually knew Henry, it would just get too confusing for people who hadn't seen the play.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. What'd y'all think of the probably one of the greatest superhero leaps ever?
That was awesome. I love that leap. Someone put the Thor music. It was in Thor Ragnarok when Thor jumps up and they have that whole thing. Someone put the same music. Yeah, it worked out pretty good. But that was great how she jumps up and then splits him open.
Yeah,
does her little somersault and then cuts him down.
Dude, I love how she was flying through the air. Then she did the little pose to go in with one arm back and the defense arm up. And then she landed perfectly in the flat bottom smooth cave that exists inside this demon.
Right. And it gave credibility to the obstacle course that people were criticizing a little bit early on. Like, oh, what's that going to help her with? Well, the obstacle course helped her.
Yeah, it got her to the upside. It got her to the abyss. It got her in the mind flayer.
Yeah. It helped her fight him at the end when she's dodging his tree limbs coming out of him.
Mm-hmm. And I know people were they're joking. I joke about it, but old Rambo Nancy, hasn't she been Ramboing out since season 1, if I remember correctly? Like she was shooting with Jonathan before they went in the woods.
Yeah, I mean the Wheelers are formidable kids stemming from the mom. Yeah,
they
tough.
Established in season 1 that their family are very 2A family, and all of them have been shooting since forever.
Yeah, well, Jonathan gives her the gun after he's not able to shoot any of the bottles or cans, right? And she does it first try.
Yeah, first try. She's always been the one with the firearms.
Yeah.
I don't know where that comes
from. She's playing flamethrowers with her Discover card.
Yeah, there you go. The other things, I just keep going back to the epilogue, how they handled that so correctly. For one, we got Dustin and Steve coming around. I know a lot of people were wondering why these two were at each other's throats this season, but we've watched them be like the bestest of friends for most of the series. It's only natural that they have their arguments, and that created and it made their resolution amazing. That fight that they got into with each other,
that was really, really well done. Very well acted too.
Yeah, but that hit in the feels, man, because it legitimately felt like Dustin was getting it out of the system, and Steve knew that, and he was willing to beat that punching bag.
That was his therapy there. And once Steve figured it out right there, he's like, "Oh, that's what's been wrong this whole time." He's scared. Oh my God.
Not anymore, they're not.
They weren't safe. They weren't
Not
safe.
anymore, they're not.
But yeah, I love what they did with Dustin at the graduation, that he kind of fulfilled Eddie's thing.
Eddie,
Yeah.
that was great. Yeah, I didn't recognize it right away. And then I saw a little clip showing Eddie's speech. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
that was amazing.
And then when he had the Hellfire Club shirt on, I'm like, yes, guys, dude, they caught so much backlash from the community, just being demonized, the fear of the unknown thing, playing on the 80s hysteria with some of the demonic stuff that was happening. If you read Department of Truth, they revisit a lot of that stuff, like the daycare, demonic eating baby stuff. But yeah, that was just amazing. That was super cool. And then the what they did with him and Steve, like where Steve comes to pick him up from school for them to go do their summer thing together. He's got the trailer hitched to the truck.
Trailer, right? Who knows where they're going?
Yes. What y'all think of Steve's trajectory, being the hometown baseball coach and sex ed teacher?
I think it was a perfect ending for Steve, because like he had no direction, didn't know what he wants to do, and then all of a sudden he's like, oh, I could probably help some of these kids, in this town. He likes that he's got something about the town. He cherishes that town, so he's giving back to it now. So,
dude, I can relate to that. Having hometown pride, I definitely relate to that.
Yeah, and it's funny because he starts off the series as being the person who was probably least likely to have connections, and he ends the series as probably the biggest connection to Hawkins anyway. Still there,
and to the fans,
yeah.
Little homage to Mike Seaver from Growing Pains. He ends up becoming a teacher as well, and he's always like, he's the cool kid causing a lot of trouble and stuff. Like, he ends up becoming a teacher.
Yeah, the cool kids who caused all the trouble in my high school were either in jail or were police officers.
And sometimes both.
Sometimes both, yeah.
Now, the one that I thought that was a kind of more realistic, it wasn't flashy, it wasn't heartfelt, was Nancy and Jonathan. Them two kind of going separate ways. I thought it was weird, which like I dropped out of school, because that's not a very 80s thing to do. Like that was back when you were lied to. If you go do these 4 years, you're guaranteed success. You just got to make sure you get in debt first. But her dropping out, I like that she went back to the newspaper, because she was fighting for her place. Yeah. And what was that, season 3, when her and Jonathan were working at the newspaper and everything. So I definitely like that they brought that back. And Jonathan going to NYU calls back to season 1, when his biological father came home when Will was missing, acting like he wanted to, help her get paid for the insurance and this and that. She's like, well, what will we? Why? Oh, you just want the money? He's like, no, I want to help the kids. I want to help Jonathan go to school. Well, yeah, where does he want to go to school? I don't know, wherever he wants to. NYU.
Right.
So there's so many callbacks to the earlier season. Max and Lucas going to the movie theater. That was one.
Enzo's, finally got to see Enzo's. Joyce and Hop going on their date.
Yeah, and added layer to that, they went full on into the proposal thing.
Right. Yeah. It was. I have no complaints about how they wrapped up any of the storylines. It was very appropriate. I also like when all the older kids are on the roof making plans, like, oh, we're gonna meet once a month. That's never happening.
Yeah. You might get one in, and then the second one, at least one of y'all will be missing.
That's what everyone does. Yeah. Oh no, we'll keep in touch, and you never do.
Yeah, this was before streaming, so they were screwed.
Right, exactly.
By the time FaceTime exists, none of them will know how to use their devices anymore.
Apparently the brief scene between Will and Mike wasn't originally in there. Noah Shap, the guy, apparently went to the Duffers and said, I need you to do this scene to get it done.
Right. Yeah, and the last part where they're all putting the books on the shelves. That was great. And I read that they did it so many times until they had it, and then they told the actors, okay, here's going to be the one, this is to be the last one. They told them after they already had it, the shot they were going to use. So because they were such a mess, all the actors were like just bawling when they were doing it. They didn't even, they won't show that one. They said they won't use it, but they got the one they needed, and then they let them cry their eyes out.
That's amazing. Yeah. Yo, and when they were sitting at that table wrapping it up, I just got goosebumps when Mike was like foretelling each of their lives, like kind of have that hopeful hopeful belief in all of his friends and where they're going, like that wrecked, man.
Well, that's his power.
You really got that feeling too of like how long we've been going with the show. That I've never felt more invested in the show, except in that moment and when Max was running for her life in season 4. Like those are the two most invested moments I felt.
Yeah. Well, Mike was always like, well, what do I bring to the table? And there's that one part where Will tells him, you're the heart of this group. So that's what he did at the end. He gave them, they're all, leaving, they graduated, they're all separating. And he gave them that hope, that belief, before they all separated, because that's his thing. He tells the story. So whether it's true or not, that's what he was able to bestow upon his friends. He gave them all hope.
I can only assume he's talking about that meme. There's a hilarious meme going around with Will at that bar, but someone's like edited Jeffrey Dahmer in from.
I saw that. Yes. I do we know where that bar was, where Will was? I don't know. I'm assuming it was San Francisco for that time period.
I think he said he went out west, didn't he?
Yeah, it had to be San Francisco, because for that time period to be finding a place to be accepted, that's probably where you would think he'd go.
But yeah, dude, it was solid.
Great. Yeah. And the belief aspect I found is like, okay, so there's Mike shows his power of belief, and a lot of people with the I believe and everything like that. And Henry had a belief as well. So I liked how they showed the dichotomy of belief, like, because Henry didn't think he was doing anything wrong. He thought he was the hero of his story. He had a belief that the world was.
So broken. That one tear when they were begging him.
What a great actor he is too, man. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought for a second they're like, oh, they're about to, because there was that theory like with 1, 8, and 11,
yeah,
you add it up and you get the dice roll. Like for a second there, I thought like, okay, here we go. Here's the scene where Vecna's going to pop out of it, and he's just like, no,
I'm glad they didn't do that. Him. Right.
He's not in control of me. We are one, and there's the tear. I'm like, oh god, this guy's he's a true villain.
He's a true villain. Yeah.
He is no Dr. Brenner.
That's for sure.
Love Stranger Things finale. It was pretty epic. Yeah. And going back a few episodes, I just want to talk on the hospital episode, man. Getting Max out of the dreamscape, Miss Wheeler fighting off the demi-dogs, Lucas and them running through the hospital. I think that was completely overshadowed by the fact that we didn't get like some kind of episode 4 moment in volume 2. But that episode was amazing, dude.
Yeah.
I loved it. I was a little yelling at the screen when Max and little sister Holly stopped right at the portal. I'm like, y'all are supposed to be running. Like, run.
Yeah, that's you always get pissed at characters for wasting time, when there's something going on, like go run, you always yelling at the screen. That's for like every show ever.
Yeah, and it had a whole Jurassic Park moment there with the Demogorgons and the
yeah, that was very intentional.
Yeah,
the kitchen.
Yeah. Right. And all anyone took away from it was like, oh, how could he kick the Demodog out of the elevator? It's like, is that what you're focusing on, man?
How could it? Yeah, like in that moment, what else would you do?
I know, you're gonna stick your foot out. Yeah. What are you gonna do? Let it eat you?
I literally in 1987, we all watched Corporal Hicks put his foot on a xenomorph in an elevator. Don't tell me a demidog is where you draw the line. Right. What?
Yeah, well, it was all the momentum was with the demidog. It's something you put something out stiff, it's gonna hit it. It's just physics.
And don't sell Lucas short. Like they've already established him as like a for his age range, like a tier athlete. Yeah. Like he's not a weakling at all.
Yeah, he was no slouch.
Remember how they introduced him in episode 1 of this season? Like when Dustin was getting
the big badass.
It cuts to him. Yeah, he's literally the badass of his school. Yeah, heavily established. The other thing is when Holly and Max were first trying to escape and Vecna caught him, we had Will dial in on Vecna for the first time. That scene didn't get like none of volume 2 got talked about. It just got clowned on, but there's so much good stuff in there. Yeah. Like Vecna getting his leg twisted and Will turning and looking at him and using Vecna's body to scream, run.
Max, if you can hear me, run.
Yeah. And then fast forward 2 episodes, her and Holly just standing there, not running out the portal. Come on, girls. It's time to go.
Well, she was trying to, because she knew she could get out anytime she wanted. She figured that out. She didn't even need the song anymore. So she was trying to educate Holly on this because she's about to leave her there with no way out. So she's trying to communicate it to her. Hey, this is what you got to do to get out of this. So
yeah, well, she was in more danger than Holly. Holly wasn't
Yeah.
expendable to Vecna.
Right.
Max was at that point, but
Right.
she was at her portal, But
Yeah.
yeah, there was a level of safety. Max knew that Holly, you need to get out of here, but just know when you do, it's gonna suck.
Right.
We'll come get you though. Like that was truly a horrific scene. Them going through all of that, Holly going through the portal just to wake up, tied up with a tentacle in your face.
Yeah, the tentacle in the mouth is
yeah, that's crazy work.
That's a lot. Yeah.
And it's not just sitting there; it's like pumping that,
really pumping stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. This is a easy show to revisit, rewatch, and catch so many details. People are still eagle-eyeing all the background stuff. They've been doing it forever, like all the set pieces in the bedrooms and stuff, the drawings on the wall, the different D&D characters and icons, and trying to find ways to puzzle piece it in or Easter egg it into the show. I can't imagine what the future holds for Stranger Things. We know we got the cartoon, but you said the spin-off series.
It's supposed to, again, it's not supposed to be focused on the Rock, but it's supposed to kind of explain what the Rock is and with a bigger mythology and everything.
And they said maybe some of the Stranger Things characters will either be mentioned or have some kind of connection to the show, but it's not going to be focused on Hawkins or any of these characters. It's going to be about other weird shit happening somewhere else.
That's probably the right direction to go. Yeah. The only way to make it, I mean, you got to remove from what works and just find something else that works. Otherwise people will just compare.
Right.
But I'm excited for whatever they have coming. I would love to dive into more of this lore and just, I don't know, it's cool lore. It feels unique. People ask all the time, why don't we get something original? Well, here you go.
No, yeah, it's definitely, I think it's going to be up there as remembered as one of the best sci-fi pieces of sci-fi, long format pieces of sci-fi ever made.
And since it lasted 10 years, it's literally generational.
Yeah.
Like this is for this generation. I mean, anyone can go back and watch it, but yeah, it's pretty wild. All right. Anything else you want to hit on it? Anything we didn't hit? I'm pretty comprehensive. Pretty comprehensive. All right, we mentioned in the midst of all that, we mentioned Avatar passed $1 billion, which you know me. I'm going to make sure we mention it.
Do you like Avatar? I didn't know if
they don't think it'll make $2 billion like the last ones, but
no, they're projecting high in 1.8.
Yeah,
but
peanuts.
Yeah, it's just peanuts. Yeah. I don't think that a movie like Avatar is trackable, to be honest with you. Like not one bit. Just like Top Gun Maverick, there's some movies that are just completely not trackable because people don't see them at some kind of predictable frequency whatsoever. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens next weekend, because next weekend's really the end of the holiday season.
Right.
And there's still nothing blockbuster wise coming out for a while. The field is clear. Right. It just gets to do what it does. And, you have weirdos like me that just go back any chance that I get. Because, once it's off that big screen, it's off that big screen. I want to go do a 2D version of it before it's gone. And, it's like the comparable, like IMAX is a brand. That size screen isn't limited to IMAX. So other theaters that can't use the name IMAX still have the screen the same size or bigger in some cases. It isn't just a fixed size. But there's another theater company here other than Regal, and they do what's called the GTX Grand Theater Experience, and it has the Dolby Atmos surround system with all like 100 tweeters and shit in there and stuff. I want to go do that, but it's I don't think they offer it in 3D, but still.
Right. I want to go see it. There is a the Regal here has what's called 4D box.
Oh,
yeah, where you actually sit in it, like, and the chair moves, and it's
yeah, that would be fun. Now, Jay, tell me why you're a terrible person and you don't see these movies.
I saw the first one when it came out in the theater, 3D, the whole thing. I enjoyed it. The second one, I've watched, I've turned on, and I've fallen asleep on it a couple of times. There's just something about
it is tranquil at times.
I don't know what it is about the Na'vi characters or the design. It just, I don't know. It doesn't connect with me. I don't find it as interesting as a lot of people. And I know that's a me thing. I'm not going to say, oh, this is terrible, makes $1 billion. But
to be fair, I hang out with a lot of people on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah.
Out of everyone, I'm the odd man out for being an Avatar fan. There's something about the comic book people, like they just don't Avatar.
Yeah, well, I'm the same way with Lord of the Rings. Like, I mean, it's an absolute success, but it's just something about it I don't connect with. I find the same thing with Avatar. I just don't connect with it for whatever reason.
Like, what? Wrong guess.
We'll never be part of the fellowship.
Thank God. I can't. I don't want to be part of that fellowship. It's a lot of walking. Just too much walking. I've never connected with it for whatever the reason.
That's
super fun. I've watched it.
But I do encourage everybody, even if it's not your cup of tea, it's not your jam, theaters are always the place that you'll have the best experience watching whatever it is, whether it's something that you like a lot, like a little bit, your best view of it will always be in a theater experience. And with something like Avatar, that it's not just simply a movie, it's built with that experience specifically in mind. It's worth, especially if you can do 3D. There are some people that just can't do the 3D thing. My mom can't do it. Lynx can't do the 3D thing. It just gives them headaches or whatever. But if you can do it, it's a spectacle. It's almost like an attraction. You know what I mean? It's not just a movie.
Well, when it's shot specifically for 3D, it looks fantastic.
And it was amazing. Like this is probably the best 3D I've ever seen, because even like you have like embers that fly. And it's like, and it seems as though they're like right in front of you compared to everything else. And it's like, so he took the time to basically put everything in a shot into 3D.
Well, what he did back with the first Avatar, because he's like an engineer and all that. He developed the camera to use for it to make this movie, because he had this, he was working on the script of this movie on the set of Terminator 1. Like Michael Bain tells a story where he came in to go talk to Jim, and he sat down in the Avatar scripts on Jim's desk that he's working on in between work on the set for Terminator 1. And y'all have seen the pictures he's drawn back in like the 70s for Avatar and stuff. It's been a project just forever, but he developed a camera called the Fusion camera that's made to shoot this kind of 3D like this. And it's even improved since the 2009 film. And then for Way of Water, he engineered a brand new camera lens that can be taken underwater that removes any blurriness or graininess. So shooting underwater looks as crystal clear as shooting above water. And of course, he doesn't keep these for himself. Other people are able to get them and use them. So the cameras that he uses make it a unique IMAX 3D experience versus most movies that are just filmed in IMAX or filmed digitally and then formatted for 3D after the fact. So
I think he invented some stuff on Titanic as well. Some like stuff that they needed to get those shots as well. I think he invents just if it doesn't exist, he invents it.
And they rebuilt to scale like a third of the ship for the back end scene and everything. Like it's insane.
Yeah, he's one of the greatest of all time. There's no doubt about
did
that.
the same thing for the
Star Wars
prequels. He invented a new camera. The digital camera, I think, was the one that he did. I think.
Right.
It's pretty wild. And James Cameron set another record. Well, for one, he crossed that billionaire mark as a private individual. But I don't know what it's called, but a hat trick, a turkey. What's it called in darts when you hit?
When you hit 3 in a row?
Yeah.
I don't know if there is a name 3 in a row. Yeah, and in bowling, it's a turkey. Right? Yeah.
But Cameron just hit 4 in a row. Terminator and the 3 Avatar all crossed the billion mark, which is wild. I'm excited to see what he does next. I know that
well, he said they'll be doing a 4th one if this one does well. So I guess this counts as doing well, right?
Yeah, but he doesn't want to do a 4th one yet. He wants it to come out in 2029. He wants there to be a time gap in it. There's supposed to be an 8-year gap in the story, because the way that he sees these structured is these first 3 is a saga. It's meant to be like, if this is all that you ever get, you're supposed to be fulfilled.
Okay.
So when we return to it, we have to return to the next story. And in anything, you wouldn't have something of this scale going on every year. Like, imagine what life would be like. And that's why there's a time gap between 1 and 2 even. Because
but he's already filmed a lot of it.
He has filmed a lot of it because he's very, very smart with how he budgets things.
Absolutely.
But there's an 8-year gap, and it's supposed to be like the whole legacy thing. Like the Jake's youngest son is the main star of the second saga. It doesn't mean no Jake and no Neytiri. It means that the focus we'll start getting around him. Who'll
Spider?
be a what?
Spider?
No, you're funny though. That's Quaritch's son, Loak.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. You're right.
Yeah, and it's the big theory is that the name of the fourth one will be the Tolkien Rider, because like that's like his, like Jake's got the Banshee, and he's the guy for the Banshees, but Loak is the one that brought the Tolkien's back into the fight and everything, and he's the one. So that's and like that. I mean, where do you go once you? It's James Cameron. He's addicted to water. We're not going to leave the water.
Right.
It's his thing.
He does like water. Yes.
He's a big fan. But yeah, so there's supposed to be a time gap so we can age up the kids and also get the actors time to do stuff and things, and people time to get like the reset before starting a new saga. But yeah, I can't wait. Well, I can wait because I'm a big fan of letting movies breathe. Like it doesn't hurt them at all to let them breathe, to let people want for something. That way, when you give it to them,
right? With this franchise, it just seems like it's like an automatic billion. So it's like whatever he makes, and people love it. So
he's the most proven director in history. You saw that clip I sent earlier today in an interview? Some guy asked him, he goes, "So what does it look like? Or what does it look like when you fail?" And he didn't even think for more than 2 seconds. He goes, "I don't know. It just never happened."
Yeah, I mean, it's probably true. You go through his Rolodex of films. I mean, has he? I don't think he has.
Piranha: The Spawning was his first movie that Roger Corman gave him a shot on. And then after that, it was Terminator, which he wrote Terminator because he said, "I'm not going to get a director shot, so I have to make my own movie to direct." And he's like, "Well, I don't have a big budget, so what do I do? Well, I should bring the future tech to me where I can film on location in our time and day so it can be budgeted right." And it turned out to be one of the greatest movies ever made for sci-fi action stuff, and like in Terminator 2, the greatest action movie of all time.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's insane what he did. Just like it's like Paul says about the coin. On one side of the coin, it says, "Oh, that was obvious. Why didn't I think of that?" And on the other side of that same coin is, "That was fucking genius." That coin is James Cameron.
Right. Yeah. No, if there's a Hall of Fame, they ever make like a Hall of Fame for directors, he's got to be, one of the first inducted.
Yeah,
just the innovation alone.
Well, getting into movies and stuff, and I'm glad you're here for this because I wanted to talk about this because I wanted somebody who's a little more enthusiastic than Paul is and a little more optimistic than I am. The big movie for 2026 for the comic book stuff, whether it's anybody's favorite, whether it's your most anticipated, the biggest movie has got to be Avengers Doomsday. A lot riding on it, the most characters in it. It's an Avengers movie, and we've gotten this little string of teaser trailers that have come out for it. Have you seen all those?
Yes.
So it's interesting marketing idea. I think it's smart. I think doing anything other than a trailer showing us too much footage, I think is brilliant.
But I think it's unique. It's original. The way they're like just giving you this little drip, drip, drip. I think trailers always show too much anyway. So it's getting me. I'm already excited for the movie as it is, but I think they're doing a good job with trying to get people hyped up.
Now we'll preface this. I'm not excited for this movie. I'm not nervous for this movie. I'm very apathetic toward the movie, which I think is the worst emotion to feel about something. I don't care one way or another. I'm kind of beat down when it comes to the MCU. And then it got to the point where I just don't care anymore. I'll watch it and I just give it the most, this is how I felt kind of rating. Like we've talked, you see my things, like how I feel when I watch this stuff, the things I notice. And it's not an enjoyable experience for me like it used to be. And from the moment that they announced Robert Downey Jr.'s return, the Russo brothers' return, I just said from day one, I'm like, they're desperate because I've been critical of the MCU since Thor Ragnarok. Like when I started my YouTube channel, I was a diehard, die in the wool and Feige we trust guy, but I said Thor Ragnarok's a problem, and if they keep doing this, they're going to destroy this whole thing. And they freaking did it. They just leaned into that same. They got lazy. They got comfortable with winning too much, and they got lazy. And that's what it comes down to. Like they took
Ragnarok though is mostly loved. I agree with you on Love and Thunder, but
no. I'm not saying I like it or dislike it.
No.
I'm saying I watched it and I said, this isn't Thor. This is placating to the people that want to chuckle and hear a fun soundtrack. This doesn't belong here. if they do this, if they guardian, like a lot of people say it now, they guardians. I was saying this in 2019 when I first got on here. They Guardians of the Galaxy Thor, and if they do this to the rest of it, it's going to backfire. Because what worked so well for the MCU is when you had characters that had their own little micro genres. You know, Iron Man was techie, Cap had that spy thriller to it, Thor was sword and sorcery, Guardians of the Galaxy was like a modern day Flash Gordon sci-fi space opera with a badass soundtrack. They have to be different to work. You have to play to a wide audience. And they got lazy because Guardians worked so well, and they thought they can just do that over and over. But and see, that's how I felt. Ragnarok was a corruption of one of the best Marvel stories ever. A little bit of me is really hindered by my assumptions going into these of how I view these characters. But it didn't serve me wrong. It just ruined my entertainment value with some of this stuff. Now, it worked on a big audience. They brought in fans. They really did. It rated high. It scored high. It made a lot of money. And they brought in fans. But if any of those fans came in and then went to a comic shop to buy a comic, they'd be like, fuck, this isn't Thor. And they kind of lost the essence of the character. But because of all that, just over years, I felt like the Doomsday thing was total desperation. You had the problem with Jonathan Majors where they had to change direction on what they're doing for their big villain. Mm-hmm. And I think that's how these teasers feel to me. There's a little bit of desperation in them. They're begging audiences, come back. Yeah. We'll bring Steve Rogers back.
That's what I mean. I think the fact that they brought Robert Downey Jr. back and the fact that they're bringing Steve Rogers back is, and I said this last time, is an admission by Disney that what they've done since Endgame really hasn't worked.
And that's okay. Like in my honest opinion, they should have admitted it long ago and done something. So I'm glad that they're doing something, but I'm still like, you're gonna have to show me, not tell me. And the same thing with Thor. I was happy to see the way that he was in that trailer. He wasn't telling jokes. He wasn't in a neon anything. He was on his knees. He was praying for his father's strength for what's to come. It felt like Thor. And then they ruined it when they showed us that little girl from Love and Thunder. I'm like, damn it, she's somewhere.
Like, can't just erase her. Some theories, yeah, exactly. I read some theories that those teasers won't be in Doomsday.
They don't have to.
They're gonna re-release Avengers Endgame, and they'll be at the end of Endgame in the re-release. Is one theory that I saw.
Well, that's smart. You're getting more money for something you already had in the bag.
Yeah, they're re-releasing Endgame in September, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they got to. I think it's like written down somewhere that anytime Avatar gets a re-release, Endgame has to get a re-release now.
because they jockey.
Yeah, if y'all don't remember, Endgame finished its theatrical run. I think it was out of theaters for like a week, and then they put it right back in and told everyone we added deleted scenes, and they put like an unfinished deleted scene in there just to trick people back to the theater, just to boost it back up because they were trying to crack that $2 billion. Yeah. But yeah, good on them. And but yeah, it's a movie worth re-releasing. I don't think people are really going to flock to go see it and again like that. Not with Disney Plus making it so accessible.
Yeah, it's so easy just to throw it on in your living room. But if you want to see it in that theater experience, they have a couple of cool new theater systems. There's this one I haven't seen yet where there's like these big screens on the side of you.
Yes.
Yeah, I haven't seen a movie in that yet. That looks really interesting.
I don't even know where one's located.
Yeah, there's one down here. I think it's in Coral Springs, which is south of me. And some movies it works better on because it uses kind of like an AI kind of thing to extend the frame. So it works better on some movies than others. But I do want to catch one. I forgot what it's called.
Yeah, I hope it just doesn't make everything blurry like they try to do on some.
Right, yeah. It'll probably work better. Like probably with like the movie F1, I think it worked really well with.
Yeah.
I can imagine like something like Maverick would be great when it's just like a lot of sky
like that.
Fill it in just to put in your peripherals.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the Thor one didn't get me excited, but I was glad to see that they were making the right step. Mm-hmm. The X-Men one did. Dude. So I'm
Cyclops, man.
I'm another die in the wool fan of the 20th Century Fox era stuff.
And I love the uniform he was wearing.
And I was so upset when James Marsden was killed. Like, no, that should not have happened.
Oh, in X-Men 3,
yeah.
That was fantastic. Now, as soon as I saw it, I'm like, that's awesome. You didn't trick me, because I feel like with Doctor Doom not having a lead up to this film, like Thanos did for like Loki did for Avengers, and then like Thanos did moving forward. They built up the threat level, so there's a reason that all the heroes had to come together to do something about it. Right. Doom doesn't have that luxury because of all the stuff. So how do we threat level them up in one film? Well, you do like a World War Hulk thing and just let them storm through and just wipe some people out that have like some credibility. Wiping out the extinct X-Men, doesn't hold any weight because this isn't your MCU X-Men. Wiping out Steve Rogers because, we got a new Captain America. Wiping out Thor because we got that little kid and we can just level up the little kid. So I think that there's a good chance that they might just be using these folks for cannon fodder maybe in Doomsday, and then you would see him again in Secret War since we're doing the
Poor Patrick Stewart's gonna die in more Marvel movies than he was in.
Yeah, I just watched that today. Multiverse of Madness. Like, he got his jaw ripped off.
Now, do y'all think that these are the what universe version of these characters do they think they are? Is this the same Steve Rogers that we had for the MCU saga? Is this the same Thor from Love and Thunder?
Because they're showing him back in where he went to be with Peggy. I mean, that's got to be the same house, right? And then there's the talk that did he create a new branch timeline by doing that? The TVA said they were supposed to do what they were supposed to do, the Avengers, that they didn't break any rules. So there's hopefully maybe that gets cleared up as, it was Steve stuck in that same timeline and just grew old and gave his shield over, or did he have to hop back over to the main timeline?
Thor's praying for strength. He's going to meet Dr. Doom in the beginning of this. Dr. Doom's going to kill him to establish his street cred, but he's not going to breathe his last breath until Deadpool gets there just a little too late. And that'll be the scene from Deadpool.
Right. Why is Thor crying? Right. Maybe we'll find out why Thor is finally crying. I mean, is Deadpool, it's not confirmed that he's in this, is he? Ryan Reynolds? No.
Has been announced. He's not going to be in this one or the next one. He's going to be in one of them.
Yeah.
He's got to be.
Can y'all just imagine how many plot threads are hanging in the MCU post Endgame right now? We have the Eternals. You have Blade at the end of the Eternals. You have Thanos' brother played by Harry from that boy band. He played Star Fox, and you had Pip.
It's got to be quite the yarn board up there with connecting all these things.
You got Scar, which is Hulk's kid at the end of that one.
I don't expect everything to be explained. I mean, maybe they'll surprise us.
You got Clea at the end of Doctor Strange.
Right? Yeah, I just saw that. I saw that today too. I was like, I wonder if they're going to tie that one up. Yeah, I think they definitely were guilty of just having way too many loose threads out there. And I'm not sure at this point if it's even worth going back to some of them. Maybe it's more of a hindrance.
And I'm sure they'll probably do something, obviously, between the two Avengers movies, where they do something, but they should not feel as though they have to do an after credit scene to try to move everything along to the next thing after every single one, because that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, Kit Harington's Black Knight.
Black Knight, right? Yep.
And then you had, was it Haley Steinfeld's character?
Well, yeah, Ms. Marvel's recruiting the Young Avengers. They
recreated the Nick Fury scene from Iron Man 1, building the new Avengers.
Right. And we saw the X-Men at the end of that movie as well. We saw Beast and we saw Photon.
In an alternate universe. Binary and Beast.
Right. So I'm thinking we're going to get those are the X-Men we're going to get, because Kelsey Grammer is confirmed for this as well. Yeah,
but so that's probably the X-Men that they're going to get killed off. Because you saw in that scene where Cyclops was doing that, there's like the silhouette of a Sentinel's leg in the background. Kamala Khan is going to save everyone by accident, become the one above all. It's possible. Yeah, did y'all watch Marvel Zombies?
I did. Yeah.
That was pretty wild. It was definitely a post Endgame glaze fest version of that story, but it was still wildly enjoyable.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I get it, the superhero fatigue thing people talk about, but I don't ever get any. I've been no point where I ever I hope they stop making these for a while. I just love it. I love all of it that comes out. I'm not saying they're all great, but I don't want them to ever stop making this stuff, because I remember the time when it was very bare and there was nothing. when we got the Phantom coming, we were like, "Woohoo! The Phantom's coming
Don't knock the Phantom. First off, I'm a really big Phantom fan. I'll slam evil.
It was red. It was Red Brown as Captain America. Captain America. Red Brown as Captain America. And
right. So now we get them on the regular, and it's just, I hope they never stop making this stuff.
So as a Phantom fan and a kid that grew up loving comic books in a comic book household, I never felt like we were short of comic book movies. I know that they weren't of the caliber and they weren't of the general public acceptance that they are now. But like there was always in my memory comic book movies. And I grew up in a household watching 1940s Phantom serial. You know, the very first, like 1940, you had Captain Marvel starring Tom Tyler, which was like almost like 6 hours worth of superhero content. We had Captain Marvel, Green Hornet. You had the Phantom, which was also played by Tom Tyler. But you had the Batman and Robin, Superman. Like this is all in the 1940s. Like, and it never stopped. It never slowed down. And granted, quality's gotten better. But hell,
when it started becoming a high production value, because when I was a kid, it was just Superman. That was the only thing that had high production value. Everything else was TV or lower. I mean, I remember I rented the original Fantastic Four, the
Roger Corman one.
I rented
which is crazy. That's not supposed to be available. But if you went to a video store that wasn't Blockbuster, you can find it. Same for the Captain America from '93.
Right. Yeah.
With the Italian Red Skull. If like we had like private owned video stores, like Blockbuster, which is the chain, but you go to Video to Go, they got the Captain America movie, and like
I mean, I'm from the era. There was
any Comic-Con you can buy it.
Still can,
Yeah, exactly.
And they only had one copy of each movie. That was the little video store near me.
I just want to throw this out there. In 1996, when the Phantom came out that same year, you know what else came out comic book movie wise?
What was it?
The low budget Vampirella. Barbed Wire with Pamela Anderson, and Generation X got that TV movie with Matt Fryer, which was fantastic.
I remember that.
Like again, the budget's not there, like and all that, but those for me were fantastic. I didn't compare them to like the silver screen quality stuff like we would get today, or even its competitors. Like the Phantom, I did. The Phantom felt like this, like the Phantom and the Shadow, which I always pair together with the Pulp Heroes, like. Those were both amazing to me.
Darkman, I remember.
I was about to say, if you want to get into the 90s, you have tons of superhero stuff on the big screen.
Well, I mean, Batman blew it open.
Dick Tracy, remember Dick Tracy?
Dick Tracy.
I do with Warren Beatty. Al Pacino, bro. Madonna.
Yeah. I mean, after '89, they saw, this can be done in a serious way with Batman. Then the floodgates started to open, and then I think Spider-Man was another kind of litmus test where
after Titanic, James Cameron was handed Spider-Man, but because they couldn't get Leo, he didn't want to do it. But that Spider-Man was a game changer. That's really what took us into the 2000s. But that was only a game changer like it was because of the success of Blade.
Right, Blade was a big one. Yes,
Blade,
because the Batman stuff got burned out bad.
Batman showed it could be done. Blade said, "Well, other people can do it too in a major way." But it's crazy when you actually pause and look back on it. So much content. This isn't counting like TV shows, like as a kid especially, you were highly looked after with like the Marvel Action Hour in the 90s. The Marvel cartoons go back to the late 60s, where Captain America throws his mighty shield with a limited motion stuff, and then into the 80s. Then of course you get into like the goated stuff of X-Men, Batman, Superman, Spider-Man show.
You had Super Friends ran for 15, 20 years.
Aquaman had a solo. Superman was so popular, or Super Friends was so popular. Then you had the Ruby Spears Superman cartoon in the 80s, not counting the Fleischer Brothers Superman, or the Fleischer Studio Superman from the late 40s.
Right.
So it's crazy how much content for comic book fans has actually been out there the whole time. It just hasn't been looked at as mainstream.
Right.
But it's been there. It definitely has.
How many Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies have there been?
4, not counting the animated TMNT one or the most recent one. 6, 7, 8, counting the Michael Bay ones. There's 8 TMNT movies. Electric Company Spider-Man.
Yes. I used to wait for the Spider-Man. I mean, I watched that whole show just to wait for Spider-Man.
I love y'all's reactions. And both of y'all went, yes. All right,
I would be so pissed if he didn't show up in this
episode.
Yeah,
that's why I wasted my time. No Spider-Man today.
Yeah.
Now, switching one more gears, we touched on the Marvel big one. Spider-Man's also releasing this year. Where do y'all stand on the Spider-Man movie? I'm be honest with you, I'm again apathetic. I have no clue what they're going to do.
That's the one I'm the most worried about because I'm hoping Sony doesn't have too much of their hand in it, because Sony has just not made one good superhero movie since the Spider-Man 1 and 2, Tobey Maguire's. Everything's been garbage since.
Chasm, the Amazing Spider-Man?
I wouldn't call it garbage, but they're not great. They're not great, those movies. Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, you think they're
Amazing Spider-Man 2 is bloated. I'll give it that, but it gives us our best Spider-Man. I think the Amazing Spider-Man,
I liked him, like Garfield.
Yeah, I like the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 better than all of the Tom Holland ones on a personal bias level. But I would argue and win in any debate saying the Amazing Spider-Man 1 is a far superior film in every aspect than all the Tom Holland ones.
Oh no, I wouldn't say that. No,
to me, Spider-Man 2, Doc Ock is the best Spider-Man movie.
It's in
the top 3 superhero movies of all time.
Yeah,
I actually have liked the Tom Holland movies.
Me too. Me too. Yeah, I think actually the Far From Home is a little underrated.
I can't watch Spider-Man 3.
No, that's well, I do watch it, and I watch it specifically for the bully choir portions. I like when he starts singing, even though that's like the thing that everyone hated in the third Tobey Maguire movie.
Spider-Man 3 is not a great movie, and I absolutely love it to death. It's one of the ones that has high and low lows and not much in the middle. Like the fight in the black suit with him and Sandman in the sewer, him saving Gwen from the tower with all the debris. That was like the first one to do that. The big fight at the end teamed up with Green Goblin was great, but the story aspect and the character aspect, it really missed big time because they crushed 2 movies into one.
Sam Raimi said that he was forced. Venom was forced on him. He was not going to do Venom.
Yeah, it was for Venom was meant for Spider-Man 4. He was meant to infect Eddie in this one and be in Spider-Man 4. But before they started filming this, they got the call that there would be no Spider-Man 4. So they was forced to mush those two together kind of thing. Because they wanted to get more sales from the merch and the toys. Yeah. It became a milking thing.
Right.
But yeah, Spider-Man 2 is in like my top 3 of all time. Yeah. But taking the Tobey Maguire out, I think The Amazing Spider-Man is beginning to end shot for shot a fantastic film. Yeah. Like that Mark Webb Spider-Man film is just absolutely fantastic.
I liked where they were going with it, with the Sinister Six thing, building that up. I would have liked to have seen what could have come of that. But I didn't really appreciate them as a whole. I liked his performance and his chemistry with Emma Stone.
Emma Stone
was really good. Great, yeah, she was really good. But I didn't think
Sally Fields as Aunt May.
Yep,
that was awesome.
Yeah, they had good cops, good components.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, I don't have a clue what they're doing with the new Spider-Man. I just know there's a picture of him standing on an armored transport.
Right. Yeah, there's not a lot to know.
Punisher's supposed to be in it, I think, right?
Yeah, Punisher will be in it. Yeah, so I'm excited about it. I'm also nervous about it.
Yeah, well, I think there's an inherent problem with having John Bernthal's Punisher appearing in other superhero stuff. It makes the stuff around him feel less because that guy is such a powerhouse performer and he's so believable. And did you see the Odyssey trailer? Yeah, when he's talking, like even that clip of him sitting there, like, "Where's Odysseus?" Like, dude, this guy's so good. It's ridiculous.
Supposedly because he's doing this, and because he also filmed his special for Disney Plus. That's why he's not in the next season of Daredevil.
Right. Yeah, we'll see how they use him. Hopefully they don't dilute it too much. I mean, he can't be as violent in the Spider-Man movie as he's going to be in his own things, but hopefully they still do it justice.
Yeah, it hasn't happened since. That's a good point, Ronnie. Good point. All right, I want to switch gears. I think in the past year, one of the highlights of my life has been watching you guys on your show and watching the total shift in dynamic to y'all being easily DC's biggest fans when it comes to podcasters.
Is that right? You think that?
I'm sure of that.
We love James Gunn, and we
There
are
it is.
James Gunn's. One of our episodes is literally called James Gunn Stands. We
Yes.
are not apologetic about loving James Gunn. We think he's one of the most talented writer directors that have ever done anything with comic book material. So,
Yeah,
I mean, it's not
I
like he
caught
can't
on
do
real
no
quick
wrong,
when
but
you're like, we just need a movie just all animals, just him directing all animals.
he just does it so well. It's so crazy. His anthropomorphic talents are very high.
So to set it up, I'm a James Gunn fan. I love Guardians, all three of them, absolutely love them. I'm a huge Guardians 2 fan. I don't understand any of the backlash that movie gets. Not a single one. Love it. Like
The Christmas
the
special.
Yondo stuff, the Christmas special was amazing. In an
Christmas
era,
great.
in an era where everyone thinks I just hate on MCU stuff, like I do praise the stuff I enjoy. And the Christmas special was definitely one of them.
Yeah.
I loved his Suicide Squad. I'm still a fan of the first one more because of personal bias. I'm not saying it's a better movie. I'm saying I rewatched that one more than the Peacemaker one. I love his Peacemaker show.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Superman an awful lot.
Yeah.
It wasn't in my top 3 of the year, but it's in my top 5. But I'm very fearful with his being the creative director that too much of the DCU just feels like one person's vision right now. So I'm very
Supergirl will tell us something because he didn't write it or direct it. So we'll see how that looks.
Yeah, I put out a video expressing my concerns on that. Switching to comics here, being a Tom King stan, like I'm one of the most divisive writers out there. You love him or hate him.
Right.
I'm a huge defender of his. Huge fan of Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. I was one of the people that were pulling it years ago when it was coming out, reviewing it every month here as it came out, begging people to read it. And I love that story. It's literally true grit. Tom King said I wanted to make True Grit, but with superheroes.
Right.
So it's literally True Grit. And I thought it was just fantastic. So when I saw the trailer, I'm excited for it, but I'm like, why does this look like it looks?
Why? The trailers are marketing tools. So they want to keep the excitement that has been going on. They don't want too much of a shift, I think, in the marketing. But I think when we see the movie, we'll notice that director and writer stamp on it.
How does crypto pissing on a newspaper advance that?
No, just
people
put in
laugh.
context. I don't know if you read Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, but there's stuff like when she showed up at the end of Superman and she showed up sloppy, drunk, and tripping. I'm like, that's not Supergirl in any version of the story, of any version of Kara. That's kind of just James Gunn trying to get a joke in. Oh, that's why the dog acts bad. And I get that. And then you have you see more of that kind of portrayal of Supergirl in the teaser trailer, which I get. It's just a trailer. I'm fearful that that's who she's going to be.
Well, she's probably going to be a mess in the beginning because you don't want to disconnect it so much that people are like, because remember us comic book readers, we're the tiny amount. They need large appeal. So they can't disconnect it completely. A lot of people enjoyed Superman. A lot of people enjoyed seeing Kara come in at the end like that and are excited to see what happens with that Supergirl next. So you can't come in and her like, oh, I thought she was a party animal. She's going to have an arc, and she's going to probably learn some things about herself. And she probably is going to be a mess in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, for sure. It's her dancing under the literal disco ball and the strobe light, that kind of stuff isn't Gillespie directing. That kind of stuff is James Gunn's influence on a film that James Gunn isn't writing or directing, was my fear. And then this past week, he did an interview and came out and just said it, that this isn't going to adhere. He used the word religiously to Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, which no one expects it to. No, but he said it's going to be more Guardians of the Galaxy-ish. He used those terms about the movie that he's not writing or directing. So it's kind of makes me fearful that he's do what we said we're going to do at the beginning of this and let whoever's doing the thing do it their way so that everything feels unique to the characters. Now, that's my fear for Supergirl. And because all we had so far is Suicide Squad, Creature Commandos, Peacemaker, Superman.
It's all Gun. Yeah,
it's all Gun. So I don't want them to kind of alienate.
Lantern should show us a lot too.
Yeah. And I also think,
lanterns.
Lobo in itself, I think just having him in the movie kind of makes it more Guardians of the Galaxy-ish, I think. But also, Gunn also did come out and say, I saw a post today that he has basically come out and said he's finding it more difficult to be a director and the president of DC Studios.
Yeah, it's going to catch up with him. He's that kind of workaholic. It's going to catch up with him. He's going to burn out. It's just going to happen, and he's going to be forced to start giving other people these projects. And it's going to happen organically. He's just going to get too busy.
Yeah, to be fair, it should have already happened to begin with. He shouldn't have had his fingers in Supergirl unless the person asked him to. And I know Supergirl is more directly connected to Superman in tone and style, because in the movies, I mean, they're literally connected. They wear the same outfit. They come from the same place. They got this, half their name is the exact same. So I get that. So I'm excited a lot for Clayface to show us that different side of the DCU. And because a lot of general audience isn't watching a cartoon on Max, didn't watch Peacemaker. They did watch Superman, and that was the genuine start for them. So like you said, and it's my number one most anticipated, looking forward to project for comic books on film is Lanterns.
Looks really interesting.
Dead stop.
Right. I heard way long, I don't know, a year or two ago, I heard it was going to be True Detective, but with the Green Lantern Corps, which I was like,
that's what James said in the pitch.
Right. I mean, that sounds amazing if that's the tone we're going to get with it.
If that's what you're doing, it's already a success, because that's all you have to do. And I hope they do more of that. That's what I was hoping for with Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. Like, if you don't take the John Wayne True Grit, but take the Jeff Bridges, Josh Brolin True Grit from like 2011, most recent version. Amazing movie. It's a freaking 9 out of 10. It was so good. If you take that and change nothing about the tone, the cinematography, nothing, and you just replace it with superhero characters and in the places they go to, that's how I was hoping they would treat it. Because that little Ruthie girl, she was a smart ass to Rooster. You know, she was comical relief, because you have this, she doesn't fit with these rugged men out in the West where it's life or death around every corner, and that kind of gave you levity to situations. That's kind of how it is when you read that book. It's the natural, it's kind of like Thor being in a bar on Earth. Like, you don't have to write jokes. Him being in Asgard in a bar writes itself. And I want to see more of that in the DCU, not the forced jokes, the pissing on the newspaper, the thanks for watching my dog, bitch, that kind of stuff. It feels cheap to me. I'm afraid that the DCU is going to MCU itself when the MCU is actively working to get out of that trope that it got into.
I really stay away from monolith kind of critiques, because there's so many different creative people working on all these different things. And when you say Disney or Warner Brothers, they're just the wallet, and everyone else is the creative people they hire making these things. So when you have James Gunn's humor is similar in Guardians as it is in Superman, as his other projects, because that's who James Gunn is. And I don't think Supergirl will be that much of a tone difference from Superman, because why should it? It's his cousin. It's in the same, that's a character in the Superman family. So I'm not expecting Supergirl to be vastly tonally different, even though I understand that comic is tonally different. Those two are related. You're going to get a lot of people that saw Superman who are interested in now seeing Supergirl. So you don't want to alienate them as well. Like, my daughter is like really excited about Supergirl. She's 13.
Mine too.
So,
she's 17.
So you can't all of a sudden throw like, oh, this is a dark, twisted Western type of thing, and they're going to be out. So you're getting these young fans who were exposed to Superman and saw something different than they had been seeing with DC, and they're excited about it. So you got to be careful. You got to work that balance. So I don't think Supergirl will be vastly different. I think it will be a little bit different than Superman, but not a lot.
Yeah. As far as like Paul said with the Lobo intro, again, it's that like, I get appealing to the younger audience. I guess the fear comes in like just the jokey of it all. It doesn't. I'm afraid everything's going to be overly campy. You don't need Supergirl to be comic relief with this attitude drunk thing, because you have Lobo in your movie. If you do Lobo half right, everything he says will get a chuckle, or it'll be like, oh my god. But to the monolithic critique, I wouldn't typically do that either. But just like we've learned, that kind of does fit as a descriptor for what happened with the MCU, because it started out as a place of individual creativity. Sure. When Jon Favreau made Iron Man for Paramount Studios, Joe Johnston directed Captain America. Kenneth Branagh made Thor. You have like A-tier directors and actors, and like Kenneth Branagh, I was like, that's Hercule Poirot himself now. Like so like it became this place where they weren't hiring those people anymore. They knew what like this is the direction this is going. We're going to get someone to write the script that it's already written. They're ironing out and just balancing out something that's already written. You have a director that comes in and is told what you're going to be doing. So it wasn't a traditional sense of a movie thing anymore, but the MCU is not a traditional thing. It's never been done before. It's so impressive what they built and what they've done. But the side effect of that is monolithic movie making. And that there's a lot of people that have talked about it that have worked on them. Like, yeah, I didn't get to do what I wanted to do. And we've seen like them hiring specific people to fit specific criteria to make things, because like with Moon Knight, they said we have to get an Egyptian director to make this show. So they're trying to do certain things that aren't individualized. They're literally monolithic production.
Moon Knight was so different. That's a good example of something that had a different tone and was very different, and people shit on it. And I loved Moon Knight.
It was because it was bad. If we're being honest, it was bad. No, I like a lot of bad stuff. I like a lot of bad stuff, and I can say Moon Knight was bad. I don't mind. I just told you, like I prefer the bad Suicide Squad personally. I don't think it's better, but I have more fun. I rewatch it more.
I really enjoyed Moon Knight. I thought it was very, very different, very unique.
It was definitely different. It was horrible, but it was different. When I checked out was when they were on the rich guy's little ranch or whatever it was, and Mark Spector was there, and the bad guys are holding him, and you turn away for 1 second, and he turns into Moon Knight, and you look right back, and he just climbed up on the little building top that was like 10 feet away from him just to jump off at him so it can create the shot of his cape. I'm like, bro, why? It's been 3 seconds. Why'd you climb up there to jump off?
I'd have to see that again.
It was so bad, dude. Like, it was so bad. I had fun watching it because, like, as I'm watching, I didn't expect it to play out like it did. I did like the kaiju battle in it. I'm a sucker for kaiju. Anything kaiju, like having Khonshu, like the giant fighting and stuff like that. That's fun. That's fun.
I definitely appreciate it. I was hoping we were going to get another season, but it doesn't look like we're going to.
You remember when they released the leaked photo of him and everyone clowned on it? Like, there ain't no way this is real. He's wrapped in toilet paper, X, Y, and Z. I legitimately thought that they intentionally released the leaked photo so that they can test the waters of the reaction and make changes if need be. But nope, they didn't. I thought his suit looked fine though. I thought it was like a mummy makes sense.
A mummy, right? It made sense.
It's a lot of sense. Yeah, that show was, in my opinion, that show was next level awful. But it's not unwatchable. I'm being a little hyperbolic, but it was something. But the point is like they weren't sitting there looking at a list of resumes of people that turned them in. They're out actively looking for specific people to fit a script. And if you remember at the time, the guy that they brought in to direct it, he criticized the director of Black Adam before that released for not being Egyptian and making a movie that, like, y'all are playing like these weird games that just run fans away and stuff. Like, I watched both of them, but in the culture war, there's some people that you're going to lose money doing that. No matter what.
You will if you make it's all the final product is really just says everything. You can filter out all that noise if the final product is good. I thought that Moon Knight was well done and a very different tone, and I would like to have seen where it went. I mean, but I'm the type of person that is going to give Wonder Man a good chance because
I am too. I love Yahya Abdul-Mateen.
I love him. He's great.
Yeah. Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah, I mean, I just watched him on the plane ride back from Iceland. I watched
Greatest Showman,
Matrix Resurrections.
Oh, nice! Yeah,
and he's in that as well. And he's
another awful movie that I enjoy.
An awful movie that has great concepts.
I don't care how bad it was when me and the wife watched that when it dropped on Max, because that was the same day as theater release because of COVID. When we saw that Trinity was alive, that did it for me. Like, thank you. Like, I didn't want her to be dead.
No, well, I think they used it pretty well. They needed her for him to function. Like, it was like two motherboards they needed for this whole thing to work. They couldn't have one without the other. They didn't function. Like I said, the concepts in that movie were, I think, very well thought out, but the execution.
Patrick Harris was cool too.
Yeah, I always enjoy him.
And I like what they do with the mirrors, since we didn't have the telephones. I'm like, yeah, this is
Yeah, well,
cool.
their technology advanced like everything else. So yeah, the concepts were good, the execution was not. But I'm looking forward to him in Wonder Man, and I like the meta approach to the whole thing. And I'm guessing that his secret is that he actually does have powers that he's hiding,
Yeah,
and he's
he's
just trying to be a normal guy.
The water
Yeah,
vibrate.
yeah. He just wants to get an acting gig and live a normal life. And
Now I was excited for it because it looked like Apple's The Studio, but with superheroes. And then I saw Trevor Slattery was in it. I'm like, there's gonna be shit. I'm gonna watch it.
Why you don't let you
It's
hating
gonna
on
be shit.
Slattery?
Yeah, because I have minimal taste, so it's impossible to like. I love Ben Kingsley. Dude, like him as the Mandarin was insane. Like that was like alpha level villain. The voice he did, like you'll never see me coming. Like, dude, that was like legit intense. And then there's like, oh, excuse me, just me and the birds. We're just
I'm
hanging
sorry,
out.
I thought that was brilliant. I thought that was brilliant because that Mandarin was so cliche. You know, he was just being so cliche, and then it turns out it's all an acting job. I think Iron Man 3 is a very underrated film.
I love
Very
Iron Man
underrated,
3, but
yeah.
I think what they did with Trevor was buns.
No, because the real villain was the
Killian.
Yeah, I thought that was more appropriate, using the idea of the Mandarin, and then we see what the Mandarin really was, which I think was more grounded in Shang-Chi.
Yeah, dude, I liked him in Shang-Chi.
Mhm.
But you know what the worst part of Shang-Chi was?
What?
Trevor Slattery. God dang it, Jay.
I mean, you just don't like comedy in anything, it seems like. You got to have some comedy.
I think that having Awkwafina, who's a literal comedian, as your main co-star is all the comedy you need. You don't need all the nut punches, all the sarcasm, like, but only because you've done it in every other movie. Like it would have been cool for Shang-Chi. Like if you have Awkwafina, you don't need Trevor Slattery or Morris, the butt with 4 legs. That's crazy. Like you're now in a mystical place where you're supposed to feel the honor and you're supposed to feel the fantastical, majestic nature of this lore
they
and
showed
the legacy of this culture and stuff.
They showed that in spades, though. I mean, just because something looks weird and we think it looks like a butt, that doesn't mean
literally a butt with 4 legs. That's what Morris
to you it's a butt.
What was it to you?
There's no limit. I don't put any limit on, okay, you have to have only this much comedy in this. It's when the comedy starts to outweigh the story, which is what happened in Thor: Love and Thunder. And it got way too silly. The moment I saw the rock god sitting on a bed of, what was it, forks, or what was it? What's his name?
Korg.
Yeah, Korg's god. He was rocking. He was sitting on a throne of scissors, right? I was like, okay, that's like Spaceballs level kind of, you know. It's too much, and now it dilutes the story. But I don't think there's any limit on comedy as long as your main story stays solid.
Yeah, I don't think there's like a measurable limit though, and I think that's where the artistic talent comes in. When you, as the creative behind it, like the where the buck stops, which is typically your director and a little bit of the producers that, you know, can make those phone calls and throw weight around on the set when they want to, but it's your job as a talent, not as just an employee. And that's what separates him as a talent, is to know where that limit is. We as the viewers are all going to have a different line in the sand, but you as a creative are supposed to have an ability to measure that.
Let Taika Waititi just off the leash on that.
Yeah, but I would argue that Shang-Chi had too much for the kind of film it was, for being such a, like, think of the way that finale with him and his dad and running on the dragon and how epic that stuff is. And then when you look back and think of the movie, you have people like myself, and I'm not limited in myself, talking about the butt with 4 legs or Trevor Slattery.
Yeah, but I'm not thinking of the butt with 4 legs in that moment when I'm watching the fight, so it doesn't dilute that part of the movie.
No. After you watch it, when you like, that's diluted it. People don't talk about Shang-Chi anymore. They're not rewatching it. They're not wearing Shang-Chi shirts. They're not going out buying. They didn't build fans with it because it didn't resonate long enough. Like, you'll remember like a little bit of this or that, but I think to your point, it has diluted the story, and we can really see that by its footprint. Does it still have a footprint?
I mean, I see people now realizing how great that bus scene was, the action sequence.
Oh,
I mean, it's amazing.
That was like straight Jackie Chan level.
I have seen people posting that more often, saying this didn't get the credit it deserved.
There's a lot of that movie that I like. The choreography was amazing, but for me, again, everyone's line's different. For me, it was definitely outweighed by the the campiness.
You're the only one I've seen focused on the butt creature. I haven't heard
That's
anyone talk about it.
crazy. I'm the only one that wasn't a fan of Morris.
And the way the maze kept changing and the woods, all of that was just incredibly shot.
Flashbacks with his mom was beautiful.
Yeah. I think
and
it's another.
I haven't thought about that movie. I haven't thought about that movie to this depth and talked about this movie since we did the episode of this show after it came out. Because like I saw it like opening weekend. I always pay to take my dad to see him because he ain't going to pay to see these anymore. He lost faith long ago, but if I buy the ticket, he won't make me go by myself. Godspeed to him. But it was what we got after Endgame, really. Like I was excited to see where we went, and I think it had a lot of good faith because we got Spider-Man, of course, but it was like the first like MCU proper film after Endgame. I don't know. Return to Silly Marvel. Hope I'm wrong. No, it's a comedy. I think they're billing it as a comedy.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah, well, it might surprise us. It might be a comedy kind of on its surface, and then something underneath might be going on.
I agree, and I also disagree with Sled. Shang-Chi didn't need any damn rings. Correct, he didn't need them. I don't think it was stupid. I thought it was an upgrade. There's times in these movies, I thought that was a cool lore upgrade, tying him to the Mandarin. The Mandarin having 10 rings on his fingers that shoots a magnet laser, and that would be corny as shit to do these days. Like that's corny. That was cool, like in 1960, but actually 10 mystical rings, like that's actually kind of more on brand than the actual rings on his finger doing corny individual powers. So I thought that was
another one. Now, that is another one that I've seen that went nowhere. The Illuminati team at the end, right? Went nowhere.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, we don't know. They explored the origin of the rings, and we don't know where they came from. And will we see that? I think we are going to get.
They got to be tied to the Eternals, right? Like that's what I always assumed, because the way that they looked and like the way that the Eternals little square ship, and like when they get frozen in place, it's always like a ring under them. I'm like, this would be great to tie them to like something that crashed or was discovered on Earth, like Eternals adjacent.
Yeah, it's got to be something very, very ancient. So, I think we will get that answer though for where the rings come from.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of potential. I don't know. I hope that like you said, there's too much for them to string together.
Oh wait, what about Fantastic Four? What about Fantastic Four? Now I've watched that now 5 times. Fantastic Four. Yeah, because I'm a nut job. But I have watched it over and over again. I was like, wow, this was way better than I gave it credit for on the initial viewing. That movie is very, very solid, especially how they use the Silver Surfer in space, like surfing on Johnny's flames. So amazing. It was really good. I love that movie. I think Fantastic Four.
Right, real quick, I just want to gauge you here on a 9 out of 10. What'd you give Superman? I mean, out of
9.
1 through 10. 9. What'd you give Fantastic Four?
I would put Fantastic Four at a 9.
Okay, so I have Superman at an 8, and I got Fantastic Four to 7. So we ain't far off. We're just
not that far. Yeah.
No, I enjoyed Fantastic Four. There's a lot of stuff I was worried about. Pedro Pascal is the weakest part of that movie.
Oh God, I couldn't disagree more.
He didn't.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not saying he did awful, but he's compared to. I mean, well, to be fair, the Thing didn't do anything, but Johnny was great. Vanessa Kirby was great. Pedro Pascal was Pedro Pascal.
No, he wasn't. No, he did not play Pedro Pascal. He was very, very different. He played a burdened genius, the only way he should be played. He was so calculating. Even his voice cadence was different. I noticed that immediately. Like, he's not doing his normal Pedro Pascal performance in here. This is very different.
The Last of Us.
Yes. He does
that
not
was like the most recent Pedro thing.
His performance in The Last of Us is nowhere near what he did with Reed Richards.
I would say Joel was I would say they're the exact same if you're asking me. But I haven't watched it 5 times to catch all the little things.
Catch up.
But that's a great it's a great point. Like, if you have to watch it 5 times and notice a difference in these performances.
No, I didn't have to. I did because I just enjoyed it so much. I would put it on when I'm just sitting around. I was like, I'm going to watch Fantastic Four again because I liked it so much.
No, he's got range. The movie he did with Nick Cage, the movie that he did with Wonder Woman when he played Maxwell Lord, he's got range. That's why it gets unfortunate in the last few years. He just plays Mando and everything now.
I don't think to play the role of Reed Richards, you're talking about a guy who is cosmically smart. That's a different level of genius, way more than Tony Stark. And
Yes.
I think I felt his burden, the way that when he had that argument with Sue about how he ran it through his mind. Well, what if we do give up the baby? And I thought that exchange was very pure, because he felt guilty for even thinking of it, but it's just in his nature to do it. And I thought he carried that burden very well.
Yeah, well, because it's easy to look at his performance next to the rest of the cast because they're there on screen with him. Out of the four of them, he clearly was the weakest link. And I'm not saying that he did bad. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he did bad. I'm just saying out of the four, he was the weakest link. Just like if you look at the 20th Century Fox ones, out of the four of those cast members, ironically enough, Reed was the weakest one, and he didn't do bad, but Johnny's more memorable. Michael Chiklis is more memorable. Jessica Alba. I think it could just be a character thing. It's not necessarily.
I would put Alba as the weakest of those four. Yeah. The weakest in performance. Yeah.
Oh, you need to specify, man. Jeez.
No, performance-wise. Yeah. I'd watch a whole movie of just her, but
Vanessa Kirby did a great job. I love the dynamic shift that they did in this movie compared to other ones by adding Franklin. It gave a lot of meaning to the girl surfer gender swap they did, because it gives Johnny something to do that makes a little bit more sense than him like chasing Silver Surfer around. Because with surfers kind of always like we naturally tire to Sue in this story and finding the humanity in Sue kind of thing, but Sue's busy. Sue has a different plot point in this one to be dealing with. So it was cool to give it to Johnny, and I like that it showed he wasn't an idiot.
Right, I did like that.
Records and stuff, and he's the one that kind of cracks the voice code and stuff. And Galactus, man, Galactus was cool as hell.
I mean, the character design, it was just incredible.
That shot of them standing there the first time you see Galactus, because I went watch it on IMAX, of course.
Yeah.
Fully support these things. I give them their fair shake. Like I said, the best chance you have to enjoy it is in an IMAX. If it's got 3D, like go the full on. And I do. I take my whole family. I got 2 different popcorn buckets of identical ones, because they cups that come with them. There was all 4 of them, and Monkey wanted the Invisible Woman, and Finn had to have Human Torch, and they couldn't agree on one. So I fully supported this freaking movie.
Right? No, didn't they have like an $80 Galactus bucket too?
Yeah,
it's a big.
I got that.
You got it.
I got the $80 Tron Ares light cycle.
Oh, Tron Ares, right.
I typically I've gotten it because we go so much. We've got like this rule that we get the 10s.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because they'll have the $80 ones, they'll have the 10s, and they have other ones. But we get the 10s because they're just $30.
Do they do like a season pass at your theater, like a subscription based monthly?
They do, but not for how I watch movies. Because I do the IMAX, and that's not part of that. You can go for like $18. You can go as much as you want in a month, but you have to go to like the standard format.
Oh, AMC is like $25 a month. You can go to 4 movies per week.
I've seen that.
Any format.
Yeah.
Well, from what I understand, the Regal one is $18 a month, unlimited, but you can't watch IMAX like on release night kind of thing.
No,
like there's a caveat to the release day IMAX stuff, and that's literally what I do.
Right.
It's release day IMAX.
Right. Yeah, theaters are going to have to adjust, especially if this Warner Brothers Netflix thing goes through.
See, look, Joe's right there. Superman 10 out of 10, Fantastic Four 9 out of 10. So I think most people have them like neck and neck.
Yeah, Paul, I really was impressed with Fantastic Four.
I know you're big on Superman. Where'd you put Fantastic Four compared to it?
I think I had a 7.5 for Fantastic Four and I had a 9 for Superman.
So you're not far from where you're right there where I was.
I just thought Fantastic Four did such a good job at showing it as a cosmic kind of family and really showing Reed Richards, like, he can stretch and everything like that, but that's peanuts. His power is the brain. He's that kind of intelligence we have not seen in any Marvel movie yet.
Because John Krasinski, Reed Richards was an idiot.
Yeah, it was not. Everyone wanted that so much, and look how it didn't turn out great.
You better chill out, or this guy's going to open his mouth. You better chill out, or this person's going to do.
Yeah, it was not a good rendition of Reed Richards. I hope maybe we'll see him again in the Council of Reeds, though. Looked good, looked good. Maybe we'll see him again. But I really got the feeling of how brilliant. I mean, because he was able to invent, and this is the 50s. He's in the 50s, and he's invented light speed travel. It's just he's that kind of intelligent. Galactus had reason to fear him, and that's why the kid is so special, because he's a product of those two characters.
I completely forgot now because I'm getting my the pre-release theories crisscross. They didn't they are from this world, right?
The Fantastic Four that we just saw is from the Kirby universe. They're not in the main not the main.
Yeah, that's what I meant. They're from the world that the movie takes place on.
Yes, they're from that world, which is like an advanced 1950s because of Reed Richards, because of his brilliance. So they're in a more advanced 1950s than
I love the homage that they did at the beginning. I haven't got the steelbook for it yet. I fully intend to get the steelbook for it and put it with my Fantastic Four movie collection that does include the Roger Corman Fantastic Four and all the cartoons. But I hope that there's a deleted scene on there with the extended opening montage of them fighting the Mole Man and the Red Ape guy, and because there's a longer cut of that sequence I would love to see.
Yeah, I thought that was done. Yeah, I would have enjoyed a longer sequence of that as well. I thought it was done well to kind of bring you up to speed on what they're all about and kind of throw in some of the campiness that Fantastic Four is known for, and just kind of showing you that whole world and what they meant to that Earth.
Perfect example. Was this movie jokey and over campy? No,
it wasn't, but it definitely had humor still.
Yes, it had Johnny and it had Ben and their natural dynamic.
Reed Richards had a couple of jokes.
Reed was a straight, like no more than like a normal, ordinary person would. Invisible Woman, same thing. Galactus, no jokes. No jokes. Like it was perfectly balanced. It had a serious plot, and it wasn't a joke-driven or an action-driven movie. You were invested in the story. It looked beautiful. Like it was a legitimate movie. It felt like a legitimate movie.
There's no point where the jokes overtake the story. That's what I always look for. So as long as that never happens, I don't care how much comedy's in it.
Yeah.
Like even Superman, I'm not messing around. I'm doing important stuff. That fit in the movie. I think it fit. I think it was very well done.
Yeah, I tell you what, the more I think it's because just my concerns moving forward, the more I'm projecting onto Superman, which I said, like I said, I loved it. It was a blast. But I need a different flavor from the DCU because I'm getting so scared. You know me, I'm a DC stan, but I'm just being honest. You know what I mean? Like I call balls and strikes as I see them. Like that's where my concerns are. That's what I hope for.
Yeah, well, we gotta wait because we've only seen James Gunn so far. It's all we've seen. So we will get some of the other stuff, and he is going to have to start assigning these things out to other people because he's going to burn himself out.
Yeah. Hey, pop up. A fantastic show. As a matter of fact, don't watch the beginning until you and Oba get a chance to finish the finale of Stranger Things. They're on the finale. They haven't started it yet. So we deep dived into the finale for a good hour. So don't watch the first hour of this yet. Watch the finale first. It'll ruin it. But yeah, man, that's at this point, that's pretty much all I got. It's already 10:36. I know, like you're in the twilight zone right now.
Oh yeah,
jet lag and some of your takes.
I need another day, and then I'll be straight. I just need one more day to like see daylight and
hope you got
to go to bed at a right time
tomorrow. Hope you took off from work tomorrow.
Oh yeah, no. Tomorrow is my get right day. Then I'll be back into the schedule on Tuesday.
Paul, you got anything else you want to hit on tonight?
No, other than I hated Moon Knight too.
How dare you?
Well, there's something
that I do in all of our chats.
Yeah.
Okay. Whenever people start arguing against each other, I always try to lighten up the mood. I always put, at least we can all agree that Moon Knight was a terrible TV show.
Well,
he's done this for years, by the way, years.
Yeah.
That's okay. It's because he's Jewish. You're anti-Semitic. I get it. It's fine.
That's the thing to say these days, I guess.
That's right.
Yeah. Last thing, while you were out of country, Marvel dropped the bag, literally and metaphorically.
Every single bag.
So they they have the Ultimate Universe, and they're doing their mini series that's going to wrap up their time on this Ultimate Universe, and it's called Ultimate Endgame, something goofy. But issue 1 came out, and it came out in a blind bag. You know, those are all the craze right now.
I did saw their damage, right?
Yeah, the whole lot of them is damaged, and not only that, like Mark Spears puts out those monster blind bags. The only way to get any comic book feed is through that blind bag. Whatever's in that blind bag is not available outside of the blind bag.
Right.
All variants included are exclusive to hiding in a bag. Open it and be surprised. The DC KO #1 did blind bags where this isn't a 100% right, but say they had 5 covers to choose from, and then the blind bag, none of those 5 covers that you can buy are included in the blind bag. There might be a foil variation or a ratio or this or that, but what you see with your eyes is never what's in the blind bag.
You open the order.
Batman #1 that just started, the new Batman run, did the blind bag, same formula. We got these covers you can choose from, or you can get something that you don't know that will not be one of these guaranteed.
Right.
Guaranteed foil, guaranteed ratio, whatever. Take a shot, or just get this standard one. Marvel took the 5 that are on the shelf and put them in the blind bag.
Oops.
And then if you're one of the 10,000, one of the 100,000 lucky persons, that gets a sketch cover otherwise. So people are buying these blind bags just to get a damaged version of what they could have bought on the shelf and pick the one they wanted.
That was a mistake.
I bought 5 bags, and of the 5, 3 of them were of cover A.
So
did they come out and say this is an error on our part?
They haven't talked. They've been silent.
Radio silence.
So I went to because I'm close to my LCS. I went to the LCS before, when they were at the store, and we sat there and we didn't sit there and rip them open this or that because we weren't sure what. And I told them, from what I had heard, is Marvel saying if you open the blind bags, they're non-returnable. Well, how do you know if they're damaged if you don't open them?
Right.
So you want us to sell them to a customer, let them get a damaged product. Now I'm liable for their refund, and you're not going to give me my money. That's not going to work.
That's not going to work.
Yeah. So all of the non-blind bag ones aren't damaged. So it looks like they went in the bags damaged because I get Punisher. This comes polybagged every month. Those aren't ever damaged.
And all 5 of mine were damaged. They had the spine ticks at the exact same spot on all 5 of them that they got.
Wow. Okay. So it's probably a machine error then, maybe.
Possibly. Yeah. There's ABX. So what we did Tuesday, we sat there with the Ultimate ones, and I tickled the keys like Ray Charles and felt the spines. I'm like, all of these have the same indentation here, 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 and here, all of them. So I went live on Instagram that morning, opened one, and sure enough, it looks like it's been chewed on in 4 exact same places.
Wow.
And then if you watch a couple people's video, you'll see all the damages, all the spine ticks are on the same exact place on the book. So it has to be something about the way that they were bagged or something, or the way that because they have the book and they have just a thin paper wrap on it that has an ad for the Ultimate Universe on the front and back. Maybe that thing wrapping it.
Yeah. Something that was constant. Yeah. It's all the same spot. Yeah. It's got to be something constant.
But like Paul says, the DC blind bags had a different color silver DC bullet on the book, so it's not a regular cover. Yeah, they set them apart. But yeah, that was interesting, just watching how all that plays out. It's unfortunate because this year a lot of people, big thanks to James Gunn and what he's done in the DCU.
Yeah, huge.
He has brought a lot of people.
He really did.
Yeah, I've said it a million times over the years. A lot of people's entry point into comics is what they watch on television or in the theater. So a lot of people got introduced to comic books from the MCU, and they really haven't spread out beyond that yet. They've been comfortable in that pocket. But now that James Gunn has brought their attention over here, they've tried some of these books. Everyone is realizing they've been had for the past 10 years. And Marvel's been not appreciating their fans, that their stories are subpar, but DC had its biggest year yet. In a long
time. There
time.
has not been a better ambassador for comic books in the last 5 years than James Gunn. I mean, he's bringing new people into the comic stores.
And Scott Snyder's right there on the writing side. This way. Right. Absolute Batman's right here. Come here. Exactly. It's right here. He's active on social media. He promotes the hell out of his stuff. Yeah. He sends out early copies to people as long as they don't put them out early so that they can make content and spread the word. DC was ready for this. They've been ready for this. Right. When CGC or drops the ball, CBCS is never ready to fill the void. It's happened so many times.
Yeah, they've had so many chances, right?
As soon as Marvel got caught slipping, DC's
right, step in. Right. Yeah. No, they've done a great. DC, you really have to give it. 2025 was the year of DC.
It's a renaissance. Yeah. I'm excited for it. 2026 just getting started. A lot of good stuff on the way. A lot of good comic stories. We're about to wrap up KO and get into the DC Next Level era. We're in the all-in era, you know, that's branded on all this stuff. We're about to get into the next level. A bunch of brand new titles will be starting, bringing some favorites back, bringing some favorite creators back. Of course, the Absolute Universe is continuing. We're getting our first crossovers and stuff that is happening right now with Batman and Wonder Woman. There's so much to be excited for, and we're going to be here talking about all of it, and you can check in with the Unchosen Ones on their YouTube channel. Do you prefer people on YouTube or Spotify or where?
YouTube, yes, definitely YouTube. Yeah. Check us out there.
About to be opening channel memberships over there. Of course, they're open over here. And check me and Paul out on the DC Deep Dive tomorrow, first episode of 2026. We'll be looking at the previous year of Absolute and the future for the Absolute Universe over at DC Comics. That's going to do it for this one. You guys good?
Yeah. Great.
Well, everybody have a good night. We're going to hop out of here so people can get to bed. See you later.
You are who you choose to be.